Hey guys, this is Pig of the Hut with Tom Brady, M2 Dave, and Rico Suave is back with us for the remainder of the show today. And Plan to Win could not join us tonight because honestly, we just randomly decided to do the episode tonight, and I don't think it fit in his schedule. So he'll probably be back on later. But this is episode 11 of the Kryptonite Council podcast. And Dave is going to start us off with a host of topics.
I just want to, like people have been asking about Rio, where's Rio at? What's he up to? Is he going to be at NEC? And I talked to him today, and, he's basically told me, like, he's not going to NEC. He's pretty much done with the game. So I guess he's not going to travel at all anymore, because it's just, he's just busy, he has a full-time job and stuff like that, so he's not going to play anymore. So just so people, know what's going on. And he told me he might be back for MK, just so the community knows, what's going on with him. But he's not going to NEC, and that's what he pretty much told me. So I don't think, he's probably not going to NEC or any other tournament for that matter. So
can I comment about that before you continue?
Yeah, go
your
ahead. If you guys want to comment, if you guys want to comment on that, go right ahead.
That absolutely sucks. But I mean, it sucks for our scene, sucks for our game. However, it's honestly great news, if anything, to hear for him. I mean, you say he's got a job. What you say, school, or I mean, like, is he just got a lot of things going on, or?
Yeah, I think he's just gonna, do some work, find a full-time job. He's been dating somebody. I don't want to get into somebody's personal.
Oh, okay, no, okay, yeah.
But
Not
I
here.
just, I just want, because people have been asking me, I've been asking you too, what's going on with, Rio? Why is he on the show? Why is he playing? I want to watch that Martian Manhunter. But he's, he just doesn't have the time for video games anymore.
Well, the reason why I started out saying it really sucks for our community is because we now have Blackfellow representing the Martian Manhunter community.
Yeah.
And I got a text message from Revolver tonight. It said, "I finally played Blackfellow, the representative of the Martian Manhunter community, and his matchup numbers in our private thread that's going around that people might or might not know about, that is going around, where we're putting together an accurate tier list with matchup numbers as best we can, and thus the life of the game." It says, "I finally played Blackfellow and beat him 10-1. I'm sorry, but Martian Manhunter needs Rio back ASAP." And I said,
"Wait, what did he say? Martian Manhunter needs what?"
"Martian Manhunter needs Rio back ASAP." Okay. And I just laughed, and I said, "Honestly, you should post that word for word." And I said, "God, I miss Rio." And then he says, "I don't want to blow up Blackfellow, though. He might be the best right now, but I think Rio was way ahead." So, inside information there. That's not public. Revolver, don't kill me.
That's pretty unfortunate.
I told Revolver I was going to do that. So.
It's pretty unfortunate, because I think Rio is MK's best player, and because he's people like Tom, has been around for 20 years. Obviously, he's like a legend in the community. But Rio was kind of like Rio was kind of he was made he made a name for himself more than anybody else. And with the MK9, I don't think that's really arguable.
Yep.
And let me just say one thing. Este mensaje es para nuestro amigo Zyfax, que quiere que diga que todos los jugadores que creen que Deathstroke es viable para los torneos son idiotas y no saben nada del personaje. I don't know whether Rico wants to translate that, but there you have it.
I thought it was like Telemundo for a minute there when we started speaking Spanish.
So that was just a little shout out for Zyfox, who questioned my Spanish skills, but there you have it. I just want to talk about Youmacon a little bit, if you guys are cool with that, before we get into.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to I want this episode to, because last time it had a bunch of drama between Rico and Playing to Win. Hopefully, that's done with. We don't have to deal with that anymore. I hope the beef.
Dave, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. If you want to say something.
I'm gonna confirm that I'm gonna do that 1K money match. So I'll be more than happy to do it. And any other money match that anybody wants to come across with, I'm more than happy to.
Re-explain to the community what's this money.
Rico is accepting the $1,000 money match?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's huge.
That is.
Keep going.
Wait, I just want to add. So this is the $1,000 money match between you and Playing to Win, first to 10. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're also challenging everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, because I just saw that thread about like the money matches King is doing whatever, which originally my idea was it was the same thing for NEC, since Theo and Tyron and all these other players are gonna come through. You know what? It might as well take advantage and play them because I didn't get a chance to play them at Evo as I wanted to. So definitely at Evo, I mean NEC. I definitely want to take the opportunity and play like every player that I can, and put money on the line and make it worth the match.
Rico, I'll do it first at $20 with you just for fun. Let's do it.
Well, I'll do that amount for you because you're my friend, so no problem.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not gonna blow $1,000. Okay, so I'm gonna do $20 with you. So, but I'll take you out to a nice dinner. That is if you beat me. Haha. Okay. Anyway, I would also, while we're talking about money on the line, I would also like to talk a little bit about money. I know it's not in our subject notes or topic notes or whatnot, but I want to see Emperor Theo versus KDZ. I'm putting $100 on Theo, and I want KDZ to come out from League of Legends Nerdland and bring that Superman from Evo back to the forefront. And I want to see him take on the real Superman, Emperor Theo, that lives on the West Coast. And I got $100 on Theo, and I want to see it first to 5.
I mean, I hope he comes out because from what I've seen in the break, he didn't participate this week. And, I told him that I really hope to see more of him, and he tells me that he might not even enter at NEC for Injustice.
That sucks because it's in his territory. He's our Evo champion. I do know a little history here. PL kind of shedded himself away from the scene for about 9 months. Came back when the MLGs were announced. If MLGs were announced, I could see KDZ doing the same thing. At the time I blew up Carl for it, but Carl and I feel like and I are pretty good friends. Which since then it's water in the books or whatever. But KDZ and I are not friends. I tried to be friends with him, but he was too butthurt about something that's said in an FGC community. I swear to God, that guy cannot be a WCW fan because if someone said anything, hype to him, he'd be like, "Ooh, oh my God! Like, why would you say that to me?" And then he just cowers like a little teddy bear or something. But I mean, I was really taken back because I actually tried to reach out and talk to him at TFC, and he just kind of acted like a complete ass. But whatever. But regardless, KZ is great for the scene. He's great for the community. He's great for what he does. He's a great hype man. I like his showmanship on stage. I like his skill. He despite what I think about him in the sense I just talked about, I think he's a great fighting game player. I want to see him come out. I want to see him play Emperor, and I want to see him compete at NEC. So that's how I feel about him.
Well, hopefully, he'll get his act together because obviously his style more than anybody else has been affected by, the Superman changes. So, hopefully he can, reinvent or, renovate, whatever the case may be, his style and, come back stronger than ever. So let me just say, a couple of awards for Youmacon. Yeah, the tournament, was well run, King obviously won it. And because there's something that Playing to him, he wants to give a rant about the cosplayers at Youmacon because for some of the community who doesn't know this was like an event for like people to dress up and come, and some of the stuff I've seen I was like, oh my God, I just couldn't believe my eyes. But we'll save that for Matt. He has a really good rant about it and it's pretty funny.
You got what?
He's got he wants to rant about the cosplayers in Youmacon. And there must have been 5,000 of them, right? It was just and I've seen people dress up as a TV screen, as a trash can. I don't know what those people were doing there, man. It just didn't make any sense to me, but we'll save that for another time. I just want to ask this question. We saw the Playing to Win thread about King. And what do you guys think? Is King the best Injustice player right now?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna have I know Rico might have worded a very weird Facebook post last week, but what he meant, he explained to me. he just fit like I know I'm talking for Rico. I'm not trying to talk for Rico, but what I'm saying is I think Rico is based on his resume right now, based on what he's done. He continues to use the character that was so awfully nerfed and whatnot, and still is winning at a high level. I think there's about 3 or 4 players that I could say anyone could lose to at any time, and Rico is definitely one of those people. King might be one of those people, but I just think resume-wise, and hell, they've even played against each other in tournament. And it wasn't even that far away. It's not like we're talking about 1997 here. I mean, like Rico and King played like a month or two ago, and
True, and he did beat him. Yes.
yeah, he beat him pretty handedly. I mean, I can understand that argument if it was like down to the wire, down to the last hit, 3-2 reset in the bracket. But no, it didn't happen like that at all. Like Rico, from what I remember like watching at stoplights. I was actually driving back while watching. It's dangerous. I shouldn't say that, but I just remember saying, "God, Rico's got this in the bag." I just remember thinking that, and I think Rico might be the player to beat.
So you're saying Rico is the player to beat right now?
I would say, in my personal opinion, there's 4 people to beat, or I'd say 3 people in this order. I'd say Rico, Wound Cowboy, Theo, and I would say Forever King would be number 4 on that list. But number 1, I'd put Rico just based on resume.
Okay, I just want to talk about Theo a little bit, and
Playing to win is number 5 on that list, by the way. But anyway.
Okay. I want Tom to weigh in on this. Tom, you there?
Yeah.
What's up with the West? You're working on some things, on the West Coast right now. What's up with the West and Theo? You explained that they didn't want to play you. Explain what's going on there, man. Just tell us what's going on.
Pig of the Hut has empowered the West Coast to be the most arrogant region known to man, and it's because Pig of the Hut, and mostly because Pig of the Hut, that I am never going to partake in anything community-based again. I'm not playing this game at any C or any tournament in the future. I have nothing to add to this community or scene, and it's obvious by what goes on out here. I was here doing the Killer Instinct Guide, hadn't played Injustice in almost a week, maybe over a week. One random night, I'm like, okay, I'm in California. Hey, I finally get to play Theo outside of his 1-bar connection. And I said, I don't need to go into practice mode. I'll play a nice long set with him. I'll get back into the swing of the game, once I play a lot of games against him. I'm not going to sit and go in practice mode, because I have more work to do. So I'm just going to hop online real fast. I played him a few games. He left, basically told me he'll play me next year, which is after NEC, which is 2014, which is dumb because he must forget that I don't live over here. And then he's like, again, first to 20, and I'm like, all right, man, whatever. If that's the only games you'll give me, and he beat me in that too. And it's online. People say excuses. You guys can all fuck yourself because online is not a competing ground. And if somebody says, hey, I haven't played in a week and I'm playing nothing but Killer Instinct, I just want to play a nice long set. I'll get back into the game. What better way to get back into the game than to play a very good player and play a lot of games against him? That's a great way to shake it all off, and then you'll have some really good games. And this guy's playing me like he's a tournament. And they're very arrogant out there on the West Coast, and that's half of Pig's fault. And
wait a second. Why is? Wait. Let me.
I'm just loading my gun. Go ahehead.
I mean, I don't really care what your gun says because I'll never hear that your gun again.
Tom, I just want to make, just so people understand, what does Pig have to do with, the West Coast being arrogant?
It's just to me, I feel like Pig is a big enabler for people to really treat me like shit, and it's disappointing to have someone I consider such a good friend, and I've actually let into my personal life and told him things that probably nobody to this day knows. And
oh my God! Wait, what are you doing?
It just sucks.
You're combining competitive video games.
It's okay, man.
This?
It's okay.
What are you doing?
Pig of the Hut has just been somebody who behind the scenes has gone out of his way to have me considered a fraud, a bad player. Anyone off the street can pick up a character that I play, and all of a sudden I'm the biggest idiot known to man. If I was half as smart as that, I'd be winning. Which are a lot of the things that Pig says, that you say behind the scenes about me. And I mean, at this point, it's whatever. I don't really have time to even think about or debate about it. It's whatever. I'm not here to.
I talk to both of you. I talk to Pig a lot. I talk to you a lot. We talk privately. We talk on the show, and I can tell you right now, he honestly never said anything bad about you. The only thing he said was like we were talking about 2 months ago. He said that Theo had the best Aquaman. He fights up Zod matchup better. That's the only thing that I would consider controversial.
Pig has also said that basically these other Aquaman players, named Rico Suave, he named Wild Cowboy, he named Theo, he named a couple other ones, are playing. He said they're playing Aquaman correctly, and then I'm losing because I'm not playing Aquaman right, and my style is old or outdated, whatever it may be. You know, I played Aquaman in an era where it was really fucking hard to play him simply because everyone and their mom was playing Superman and Black Adam, and those were difficult matches. I'm not an idiot. I'm sitting here beating Sub-Zeros with Cabal, so don't tell me I'm too stupid to figure out a Superman or a Black Adam match. Obviously, I'm not. And it was just extreme advantage. Those two characters were... I'm not saying Rico was winning because of Black Adam. I mean, he's played the hand he was dealt. I mean, obviously he's still good now. He's a good fighting game player. But I'm just saying the character in general just, I felt, was over the top. And this version of the game kind of shows that Rico was a legit player, and it separates guys like Rico from guys that were playing a pocket version of the character. You know, so
you're quitting. I'm going to go and I mean, I'm waiting to respond, but I can't wait anymore.
Well,
you're quitting because you got beat by Theo, and he's coming to NEC territory purposely to try to claim his stake as the best player in Injustice, quite possibly maybe the best Aquaman.
No,
currently,
Theo,
you're laying down and not taking the challenge. You're not going to show up at NEC because
don't you ever insult me to fucking make me ever think that some fucking guy is going to pick up a character and in 2 weeks amass more knowledge than I have in the last 6 or 7 months. You're calling me an idiot.
No,
You're calling me
an
idiot.
I'm not. Are you ready for this? You ready for this?
But what I'm telling you is
if Theo picked up, all right, listen to me. Let me fucking talk. If Rico picked up Zod, you know what I would tell you? They're probably going to be a better Zod to me. I've been playing Zod since July. If those 3 players pick up Zod and they main him for the next month, in a month, if someone said, hey man, these guys have the best Zod, I'd probably be like, yeah, it sucks, they probably do. But, you know, I'm probably right there with them, but they're probably a little bit better because they're better players. And
look, the bottom line is, man, you know, I
didn't lose. Challenge. He's coming. He's coming for NEC. He's coming for the East Coast.
What challenge? There is no challenge.
The challenge in which, sir, you lost last night or whatever it was, like 20-5.
I didn't lose 20 to 5-1. And if Theo had the balls to play me, I would mop his ass up off the fucking street. But he won't play me. Theo was literally going to play me and says, basically, so that you don't download me, I'm never going to play you ever again. I have never in my...
Wait. He played you 2 series, and the total score was 32-13.
Well, hold on 1 second. Pig, why doesn't, Theo plays me a lot. He plays you a lot. Just last night, he must have played you at least 50 games.
Yeah, we always play like 50, 60 games.
Okay, then why can't he show the same respect to Tom and just fight him for the sake of fighting him, not for the sake of beating him? What's the problem there? That's what I don't understand.
Because he knows the crap that Tom talks about him as well, and he just wants to take it upon himself to have the upper hand and come in and mop people up in NEC. He's only training with like 4 people. He's ready. He wants the NEC.
Let me tell you something right now. The only crap that gets taken around here is me. Constant jabs by this guy anytime I try to post anything knowledge about Aquaman, whatever. And, you know, I don't call this guy out. I win a regional. I don't call Emperor Theo out. I'm going to be honest with you right now. The only part, let me tell you right now, Wednesday Night Fights has become the new VSM.
I agree.
No. I mean...
In dominance. I agree.
No. Not in dominance. In the days where VSM was a cancer to the community. In the days where VSM basically said, oh, we don't travel anywhere anymore. We just beat up on each other, but that makes us the best. They sit there and boast about having 3 EVO qualifiers, which makes their region the best and their territory the best. Well, guess what? Over here on the East Coast, we beat an EVO qualifier, the guy that won EVO, but they dismissed it.
The one that
doesn't
quit.
fucking matter.
Because he can't use that character he can't use that character anymore. The character that beat you the other night.
Wait a minute. How do we know they're still good with that character? They only play each other. Wait a minute. How do we know they're still...
Wait. How do I know if he's still good with that character? Because he said that he can't play that character anymore. He's gone to Batgirl and keeps getting consistently 4th place and going to other characters and can't win anymore. He's not winning anymore without that character, sir. Pay attention to the results.
Wait, just let me. Wait, look, Pig. Just tell me, like, I respect Theo. Tom, let me just say. Tom, let me just say this. Tom, let me just say this. I respect Theo, as much as you. But I don't understand, why does he have to play mind games with Tom? I just don't understand. Why doesn't he show the same respect that he shows me? He fights me. He beats me. I say, you're the better player. No doubt. Thanks for practicing with me. Thanks for just making me better.
Because like Pig said, Pig hit it on the head. Theo is playing that. You know what? If Tom is this really legit fighting game player, and he catches on, and he goes even or beats me, I'll probably never hear the end of it. So while I have the upper hand, I'll quit. And Pig has the nerve to call me afraid?
Oh, so Pig,
Tom, if you let me say, there's no need for that to quit, really.
I'm quitting for a slew of reasons.
No. If anything, I could be the judge of that. How about I play Theo against his Superman and his Aquaman? Since obviously I fought the best Superman before, and then obviously I fought the best Aquaman before, so then I would be the judge and say who's actually better.
No, I don't need a judge. My whole point is that I just want to be left alone. I don't find it funny anymore, man. I mean...
Tom, I love you.
Tom,
listen,
you
man.
lost an online series. You're acting like you just got into a car wreck and lost your livelihood.
Would you get that out of your head and look at the bigger picture? I don't... Look, there's a severe lack of respect here. I have never had a problem with Theo. I still don't have a problem with him or any of those West Coast guys. I think they're all really cool guys. I mean, I'm here at work. The other day, I'm getting texts from Marvez to come to this tournament, and I'm like, gosh, man, we're so fucking pressed for time here. I don't think I can leave a whole day to go to the West Coast tournament. I'm sorry. Maybe if there was like one local gathering, I could but I can't go to this tournament, man. I'm sorry. Don't be a pussy. You better show up. Everybody's showing up like wound cowboy ducky. All of a sudden, I'm some pussy who dodges. I'm not here to play Injustice. I'm here to play Killer Instinct. And what I don't like is that I finally come over to the West Coast. I've been playing Killer Instinct for God knows how long. Haven't touched Injustice for over a week. My first matches, after only being on Killer Instinct and finally getting back on Injustice, are against Theo. And he wants to play a first whatever to prove who's better. That is not my ideal circumstance. If Theo would have told me, look, Tom, I'm going to pretend that I want to play with you in casual, but in reality, I want to have a series to see who's better. I would say, wait a minute. I haven't played the game in a week, and I'm only playing Killer Instinct. I guess I got to get some warm-up games before I play my casuals with Theo, because God knows the earth is on the fucking line here.
What crazy-ass voicemail did you leave me that was 45 seconds long, and you said verbatim, I'm going to go to the West Coast, I'm going to play Theo online, and I'm going to show you were wrong.
Oh, let me tell you right now, and even in my weekend state, well, not weekend state, he still didn't have the balls to try that Aquaman. Because I will. But Pig, you know how many times I've played somebody, and the first time I played me, they beat me like 30-16, and they could have gone on the Pig of the Hut show and said,
okay, but that's not good, dude. That's tournament. You're in losers now.
Tournament? Are you what fucking world do you live in? We're playing online. What the fuck are you talking about? Tournament?
I live in the world where at TFC you lost to RTD Superman.
You know what? Superman isn't like that anymore, and he can't.
Oh yes, he is.
No, yes, he's not.
And I don't think RTD would get upset with me saying this, but dude, I played Theo last night. Our score pre-patch was the same just as post-patch. There's nothing wrong with Theo Superman.
Hold on, let's put it this way. I played Theo once, pre-patch, over on the East Coast, and the score was 12-8, Superman versus Aquaman. That's nowhere near what the score was now. Why? Because I wasn't playing Killer Instinct for fucking weeks straight. And I was, training more so on Injustice. All I wanted was a nice long set, get my field back on the game, and play a nice long set. High-level players don't ever get bored of playing high-level players. They never get bored. I've played Rico Suave sets, God knows how I'll play Rico sometimes. He says he's up like 27-17 or something like that. Rico won't stop and say, Tom, I'm up like 30-17. Tom, I think I've beat you enough today. Let's stop and we'll play, what year is it, 2013? We'll play, that doesn't happen. We'll keep playing. Or look at this. The other day, at that tournament Rico won, I played Rico, and he said, let's do a friendly 1-2. I won 2-0, and he had to play another game. He said, okay, we'll play after we're done. Do you think I was sitting there saying, nope, I'm done. I proved that this was a fool. All those times you were beating me, I mopped you up here. No, we played. We kept going. He was up 5-4. But we would have played to 100. You know, I mean, it's not like that. I could have just said, oh, let me call Pig of the Hut and say, if it was tournament, da-da-da-da-da-da. No.
Yeah, you're quitting.
I'm quitting.
You know what? You know what? If you would have beat him 32-13, whatever it was, you wouldn't be quitting right now.
Pig, bad news, brother. I beat a lot of people 32-13. Some of your biggest heroes with the pop and Green Lanterns. All of your champions I've beaten. I have Theo, the last champion of Pig of the Hut left. You know.
You haven't beat Wound Cowboy.
I haven't played Wound Cowboy.
Well, who are my heroes? Because my heroes are Cowboy and Theo.
I haven't played Wound Cowboy. The bottom line.
Those are my heroes. Who are these heroes you're talking about? You popped.
Look, the bottom line is this, man. My whole point is.
No. You can't say stuff like that and not give me names.
Well, he's talking about Soulface or either Deg, and I know he beat their Harleys. But this is Tom. Listen.
Harley and Aquaman. Great job.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
My whole point is this. I don't find it funny anymore. I mean, I put up with it for years in MK9. And I put up with it again in Injustice. And, okay, it's funny to you guys to troll me or make jokes, disrespect me, make me feel whatever. And it was, I guess maybe it was all to get a reaction out of me or try to get a rise out of me. And maybe back in MK9, you guys had plenty of rises out of me. You guys got plenty of reactions out of me, plenty of emotion out of me. But after years of lack of respect, after years of the jokes or the quote-unquote trolling, it no longer makes me get passionate. It no longer makes me say, oh, let me give a rise so that they're trolling me. It just makes me say, you guys are assholes, and you're not going to get a reaction out of me. I'm just going to leave. I just don't want to be around it.
Tom.
I just don't want to be around it.
Tom, you don't have to leave. In this podcast right now, you probably have look at Rico. He's probably one of the most controversial figures in this community. And maybe, honestly, as am I, and as is Pig. But here's the difference. I don't let crap like this bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me.
It does, or you would be quitting. I don't give a damn.
Let me tell you something right now. The first time I played Max Intensity, he beat me. You know, now, did Max Intensity go to the police, the TYM police, and say, yeah, I beat Tom Brady. That was tournament. Whammy! He's done. You know what happened? He played me again, and then he lost. And then we played again, and he won, and again, and he lost. A lot of players are like that. A lot of players have beaten me, you know, the first time we've played. And then I play again and again and again, and it doesn't look that way anymore. Look, I'm considered the ultimate Darth Vader for Green Lantern players. Do you know what it looked like the first few times I tried to beat Green Lantern with Aquaman? Probably the same thing that every other Aquaman player looks like. It was bad. And these Green Lantern players could have gone and called 1-800 oink oink and said, Pig, dude, I just blew Tom Brady, man.
Okay, what about Rebella? What about Orochi? Go.
Orochi's a great player.
You lost to him. Oink oink. What else you got?
I
Rebella,
did.
Go.
Unfortunately for you, I beat him in the first tournament, and the second tournament he beat me in, I came back and eliminated him. So oink fucking oink to you, Mr. Pig of the Hut.
Well, here's the thing about you, Tom. You have a loser's mentality.
No.
You have a loser's mentality. When things don't go your way, the easy thing for Tom Brady to do is get emo and quit. Until you grow the fuck up, you're always going to be that guy with that loser's mentality. And the fact that you're sitting here backing out of the challenge that is coming to you at NEC, it just speaks a lot about who you are.
Challenge. Let me tell you something right now.
The challenge, that 33 to 13 your ass or whatever it was.
You know what? I'm here right now. Theo can go on right now and get bopped 30-13 by me, but you know what happens? He won't do it. And if I did bop him like that and went forward with it, I would get blown up for bragging about online games, which I never do.
Do it offline. Do it offline NEC. I'll be there. Everyone will be there, and everyone will be watching. Do it.
Why can't you just play me here? Why
No,
don't
because you said yourself it's online, blah 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 blah. So do
you
it
see
in
what
front
I'm
of do it in front of 200 people. Do it in front
Shut the
of
fuck up!
do it in front of
Jesus
NBC.
fucking Christ! I don't like you. Yeah?
Because
Shut the
I'm the truth
second.
monster. I'm sorry.
No, you're an idiot. And
How is what I'm saying an idiot that you can't do it in front of NEC in front of people?
you do
Then
any
do
my
it.
point is, I'm over here on. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm over here on the West Coast. I don't get to play these guys, man. I never get to play Bone, Theo, Sonic Boom Brad, any of these West Coast guys that I would love to session with. You know, all they hear is from guys like Pig of the Hut how bad I am, and I would really love to play some of these guys. I
don't
never
say you're bad. Find me one person that said you're bad.
I could find you 1,000 of them. My point is,
find me 1,000 people that say. I mean, don't say shit like that. It's you do that all the time.
My point is that, you know, like, I don't ever get to play these guys. I don't ever get to play. I mean, ever. And I'm over here on the West Coast, and I'm like, hey, I've been playing nothing but Killer Instinct. I want to get back into Injustice, get my Injustice rust off, get back into the game, and play you guys that I never get to play. Then when I leave here, outside of one tournament, I may never play again. So I would love to be able to sit down with you guys and grind out some really good sessions, because I don't get that. You'll never get it again. I bought Xbox just so I could play guys like Foxy over and over and over again, who I'll probably never get to play. You know, and if I didn't have an Xbox or live on the East Coast, or both basically, I would never play this guy. And it's awesome to be able to play that guy. These West Coast guys, it's awesome to finally be here and to be able to play these guys and play them in sets and sets and sets and sets. And the last thing I want is a total lack of respect to where some guy is worried that he might be down in an account to me because there's some fake rivalry that started by some idiot that hosts a podcast. You know, that literally, I can't get any games. I get like one online set, and that's it. And you better hold that shit, Tom. Do you realize if everybody had that mentality, nobody would get any fucking games, ever. And it's a disappointment to finally be out here, and I'm limited. I get one set, and I don't get any more games till 2014. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I played Playing to Win. We played 100 games. I beat him 70-30. I think he's a phenomenal player. And he really helped me out a lot in the matchup. Obviously, he beat Black Mamba's Aquaman, so obviously those games helped him out a lot in the matchup. You know? Do you think I would ever sit here and say, well, since I won 70-30, no point in playing him again. Let me call somebody and talk about how I blew him up. No. I would play him again because there's still a lot we can learn from each other. How, you know, he might beat me next time. You know, he's still helping me out. I'm still helping him out. And it's a good player, and it was really good games, and it was fun for me.
Well, you can't do that if you quit.
Tom,
my point is,
Tom, here's the thing, man.
Lack of respect that I mean, it's so disappointing. I mean, it's so disappointing that the trolling has gone that far that I'm on the West Coast, I'm out of town, and they are the worst fucking hosts I've ever seen. Well, I can't go to Wednesday night fights. Why would I go to Wednesday night fights? To sit down, play those guys, get maybe 10 games with them, and then they get up and say, well, Tom, time for you to go, brother, but we'll see you, when we see you. What? Shut the fuck up. I mean,
but Tom, you're a target either way, though, because you're an East Coast player. That rival is always going to be there. And then on top of that, NEC's around the corner.
West Coast rivalries. But my point is, it's so bad. I mean, I have never, I don't know, man. It's insulting.
Tom, let me ask you this question, man.
I'll say this also. You know what? I've tried to play with Mr. Pig of the Hut, and he won't play me. And I'll give you this piece of advice, Mr. Pig of the Hut. You can play all these other Aquamans. You can play Theo's Aquaman till you're blue in the face. You can play Rico's Aquaman till you're blue in the face. You can play Wild Cowboy's Aquaman till you're blue in the face. It's still not going to help you against the Aquaman or another Aquaman player that may not play like them. However, if you have a problem with Aquaman, the player, you should be playing with me. You know, guys like Reo, he doesn't ever lose to Aquaman when he played. Do you know why? Because he wasn't playing with side Aquaman players. Saltface seems to do really fucking good against Aquaman because he learned the match from playing me over and over and over and over again. And he seems to do fine with every other style.
Tom, let me ask you this question, man. Hold on.
It's just ridiculous to me because Pig is just as... No, hold on a minute. Pig will pick...
You gotta calm down, man. Look. Just tell me.
Hey, Dave, let me ask you some questions real quick.
No, I just want to ask.
What are your scores versus Tom?
I haven't played Tom in probably like a month.
What are your scores? Couple of scores.
We go back and forth a lot for the most part.
Okay, here's
go back and forth for the most part. What are your scores with Theo?
With Theo?
Theo plays across the country in a different connection, even way less connection.
Pig,
what are your scores with Theo?
Theo beats me, but I'll tell you this right now. As soon as he starts losing, there comes that back two. It just, he's a better player. He's a better player, Pig. He's a better player.
Tom uses back two. I've seen people who record
No, but Tom
I know he's back two. He does back two interactable.
No. Tom plays a textbut Black Adam, meaning the way you played him offline. Tom doesn't use back two as a mix-up. When I jump, he catches me. But Theo uses back two as a mix-up. And I won't dare you to try to block back two on a 2 or 1 bar connection online. Now, I'm not saying that Theo is not a better player than I am. He is. But I'm just saying how he plays. I blow up every other Aquaman player except two, thanks to Tom. Now, I just want to ask Tom. Let me just ask you this. Did you see Theo as a threat as soon as he started playing Aquaman?
No.
Are you sure? I think that's the part where we disagree. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Do you know who the first person to send me a text message when I was playing? I was getting ready for a tournament. I was I was getting ready for a tournament. I just had to play Forever King. Do you know who the first person was to send me a text message?
No.
Pig. Do you know who the first person was to text playing to win a message just so he was out to play Forever King?
No.
I want to see more of that. That's what you call a true friend. When this guy doesn't give a shit when you play, whether you're going to place top or what you're going to do, when you're going to place better than he will. Just so he can say, you know what, there's a Xob player out doing, better than I am. Or there's a Sinestro player doing better than I am. That shows true class.
I wanted Dave to win that tournament so bad, and the fact.
And I want to see. I think your problem is as soon as Theo, and I respect you. As soon as Theo started using Aquaman, you saw him as a threat.
I'll be honest with you right now. I have never seen anyone as a threat, and I play my character. Not even back when Denzel played Sub-Zero. I knew he's a phenomenal player. Some misinformed player at Evo one time tried to say something about me in the matchup and whatever it is, but I mean I didn't see Theo as a threat at all. What happened was I was fine with Theo playing Aquaman. I didn't care. I didn't mind about the jokes about Theo's 2-week Aquaman is better than Tom's. Tom is so bad.
Tom, nobody said that. Tom, nobody said that.
Are you kidding me?
Who said
nobody says that?
Hey, can I say something?
Go ahead.
By a threat, but what do you mean by that? Because if it's like a mirror match thing, it shouldn't really matter, right? Are you referring to like if Theo's Aquaman does better than Tom by beating players that Tom couldn't beat, that kind of threat?
No, not at all. I'm saying...
No, well, listen, what I'm saying... Look, what I'm saying is this, and I was fine with it. Then he gets beat up at Wednesday Night Fights by Tyrant's Grundy, and they're like, oh, that Grundy, man, it's a bad matchup, 7-3, whatever it is. And I made a thing like, no, Theo has only played Aquaman for a couple of weeks. You can't play that generic kind of Aquaman style and beat a character like Grundy or Green Lantern. Or something like you can't Aquaman your way through those matchups. The matchup is different. It's not 7-3. It's and it's ludicrous to take a new Aquaman player like Theo, who doesn't have 1/10 of the experience of some of the other ones, and start judging matchups simply by the way he does. When you just can't play that style against every character, and he doesn't have the experience yet. And it wasn't meant to be an insult at him. I was just telling my Aquaman knowledge. Like, yes, at first Grundy can seem kind of awkward. I went through that. Green Lantern will seem awkward. A lot of characters will seem kind of awkward. And it's got Theo took that as an insult because someone like myself apparently shouldn't be as smart as him or whatever that, I don't know. Even though I was giving Aquaman knowledge saying this is not the matchup, you're mistaken, you just don't have the experience. And then he took my, you can't Aquaman your way out of every matchup as an insult. And
Tom, I talked to Theo many times on PSN, and he never said one bad thing about you. Just to let you know.
I mean, I have
but
never.
Don't try to make it out like he did, though. He didn't. Honestly, he didn't.
Yeah.
He said you were the best Aquaman, so don't try to say like he did.
My point is though, that I never took it. I still don't take him as a threat, Aquaman. I am very confident.
Not as a threat, but like as a rival, something like that.
I don't take him as a rival either. I don't look at it like that. I watch every Aquaman play, and if the difference is, like, when I talk about stuff, people take everything I do as if I'm trying to be insulting. You guys wouldn't believe this, but when I'm out here at Prima, when I go to Microsoft, they think I'm the quiet one. They think I don't say a word. Because when I'm not in the gaming world, in my real life, I'm as quiet and as humble as can be, despite the fact that you guys probably never believe that.
Nope.
I am very appreciative I watch every single Aquaman player play. I watch everything they do. But for some reason, when I say things like, look, I understand. I ask, hey, what is Theo doing? And Dave's like, well, he comes in, he back two, and I say, I can't do that. I used to get away with that kind of stuff. My Aquaman used to have first of all, the old version of the game was much harder for me because I kept running into Black Adam, which obviously I had a problem against. But then again, every Aquaman player had a problem against Black Adam back then. And I'm the only, Rico Suave, who was the only Aquaman player to ever beat you a set in tournament?
You.
And Rico beat me almost every time. But a lot of the sets Rico beat me in were like 2-1, 3-2, or whatever, even though he still won. And when he came back in tournament, he still beat me. But against every other Black Adam, the match was a handicap match. It was like, you might as well not even watch it. It wasn't even entertaining.
Oh, wait, because I don't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, Insane did beat me in one tournament too, also. He did put me in losers.
So my whole point is that it's like when people say, oh, you're not doing things like Theo or Round Cowboy or Rico Suave, I say, okay, well, I want to get better. If they're doing things I'm not doing, I want to learn. And then when I watch it, or I talk to people and say what they're doing because I'm curious to, if I'm doing something wrong, I want to know. And when they say, oh, he does this, he does that, and I go, I can't do it. I used to use back two a lot, and it was a really good 50-50 tool or whatever. But then I started playing like Rico and Reo every day, and a lot of guys on the East Coast, and I can't do that anymore. I mean, every fucking time I back to Rico Suave, and I mean every fucking time, he stands up and he blocks it because he blocks low. He can see the back two. It's a muscle memory thing. He stands up and block it. And then he punishes me. So J.E. Rosa blocks my back two, and he does down one lift. I'm like, I can't even use this fucking move because they just block it, and J.E. Rosa blocks it. He does back 1-3. I'm like, I have to use my trait to get out of something, and I'm stuck.
Yes. There's no real reason for people to be getting hit by a 25-frame overhead.
But saying that, like, if you're playing, somebody from far away, and I'm just saying that's the only reason why Theo is winning. There's other reasons, but I'm just saying.
Let me finish though. And
okay.
my forward 1-3, people that play me every day, even online now, when I do forward 1-3, when they've already finally figured out. You know what? When I'm standing up to block it, I am guessing that it's going to be in the overhead. You know what I'm saying? So when they stand up to block, they have already made their guess. So now, once they decided, hey, now that I've made my guess, why block it? I'm going to meter burn them through it, back three them through it. So now people that I play every day, when I do forward 1-3, no more say 50-50. If they guess the overhead, they meter burn back three me with a single hit launcher and a full fucking combo. I can't use forward 1, back 1 for a safe low mix-up because they figured out that after you block forward 1, and Rico was the first one to do this consistently, after you block forward 1, they noticed that Aquaman puts his trident to rest before he does back 1. So you can actually visually see that there's no longer the option for the overhead and always block low. The only mix-up I have is to do the low scoop, which is also punished by a single hit launcher by most characters. I'm sitting there playing Foxy Grandpa, and after we played God knows how many games, he starts punishing me every time. If I do forward 1-3, he guesses, he'll just fucking meter burn back three me out of it. If I do the scoop, and he guesses right, he'll block it and he uppercuts me for 30%. I don't get any safety out of that. I can't back 2. I can't safely do forward 1-3. I can't ever use forward 1, back 1. I can't use forward 1 scoop safely. I can't even fucking trident error. I do meter burn trident rush, and Foxy will punish that too. A lot of people punish that on me. So I'm watching Theo do it. Meter burn trident rush, no punish. Forward 1-3, no meter burn, back 3 out of it. Forward 1, back 1, people don't react to it, they block it, and I go, look, it's not like I don't know these things, but I have abused them so much on people I play every day that I can no longer use that. It used to be much easier for me to fight Rico Suave when I could do forward 1, back 1, when he would duck when I do back 2. Oh, that was no problem, but the more and more we play, I didn't see Black Adam as a bad match back then because I was getting away with all these things. Once I kept playing Rico and I could no longer open him up with an overhead as a single attack, I no longer had to say 50-50 with a low. It got really fucking hard. And then, like I said, when I was playing against Rosa in casuals, Green Lantern, even though I was still getting the better of him, he made it really hard for me because every time I would back 2, he does down 1 lift. It's just, and I'm like, it's just not, to me, I'm like, I can't even use it. Zod, he's not going to punish me as hard so I can use it on Zod, but I don't use it as much. Maybe if I played Dave and I tried to get away with certain things that I could probably get away with, maybe I would beat him 30-15. But the bottom line is I know that's not going to work. And if I played Dave 100 million games, especially offline, that he got used to it, I wouldn't have access to that anymore. So why, in my opinion, why would I use something that I know is only temporary as an answer just to be up in the count on him? It doesn't make, just to say, oh, I beat X player as bad as other player did. It's the wrong way to do things. So that's why maybe whatever, I mean, I just don't.
Tom,
I don't know.
Let me just ask you before, because I want to move on from this. I want to talk about Black Adam a little bit. Are you seriously going to quit this game because of this stupid drama on the West Coast?
It's not with the West. I want one.
It doesn't matter. It is, the way you perceive Pig, like he's trying to.
Look, one, I'm a little insulted because I was really looking for. Literally, I'm sitting there talking to Rip right next to me, going, I'm probably going to start off losing pretty good because I haven't played this game in a week. But, I just want to play a lot of these guys. And after I play enough games, I'll be right back into the swing. I'll get a couple of long sets in, and I'll be good as new. I'll play all night. And instead of playing all night, I only get a few games, and I'm like, all right, man, whatever. It was disappointing to me because I was just looking forward to more games. I don't care if he kept playing. I got back into the swing of things because he was up. He ends up beating me 40-30 or 40-20 or 20. I can't tell you how many times I've been down by 12, 13, 14 games and made a 10-game run. And then I end up losing by 5 or something like that. And I'm like, oh man, we played 50 games, man. Great games, man. And I didn't care. I was definitely going to make a run. I promise you that. I just wanted to play a nice long set with a couple of players, man, and just to not be able to play any of them. And these are guys that I respect. I think they're all really good players. And when you have guys that you respect try to talk down to you like you're a scrub, and if Theo would have come to the East Coast, I would never try to treat these guys like fucking garbage. I would never do that. And it was just upsetting to me that I came out here. I was excited to play guys I could never play, and it was like I was in a tournament rather than playing some games online. It was disappointing. And the fact that these guys won't play me, they won't play me. It's got to be a 1st to 5, 1st to 10, 1st to 15, something like that, and then see you next year.
So you quit?
I'm quitting because
wait. Pig, why do you think? That's the only thing I don't understand. Why doesn't Theo? He plays us a lot. He plays me 50 games sometimes, depending how much time he has. I just don't understand why he doesn't want to play Tom. Just to practice, not necessarily, okay, this is 1st to 10, and whoever gets the 1st to 10, that's it. No, no more games. I just don't understand that, because he seems to me like one of the nicest people in the community. So I don't understand why he would do that. Why does he play that mind game? Can you explain?
Can I explain? No, I can't speak for Theo. He needs to. You guys need to ask him that, and hopefully in this thread, I'll tag him on this question, and he can answer the question thoroughly.
All right.
But
I mean,
I'll be honest with you.
they're both good.
All I'm hearing right now is things aren't going your way, so you quit. That's all I'm hearing right now.
It's not funny to me. This community
If
joke.
you would have won that series, we would not be having this discussion right now.
No, are you kidding me?
Point.
Are you kidding me? Do you know how
I'm
many people?
absolutely telling the truth.
Do you know how many people?
People who usually say, "Are you kidding me?" say it to buy time because they know I'm telling you the truth.
Let me tell you something, my man. There are plenty of people that are some of the best players in the world. You know what? I beat Forever King in an online series, and I complained that I didn't get more games. I understand. Dave, didn't I say to you, why doesn't he play me more? Didn't I say to you?
Yeah, you did.
Mr. Pig, let me get this straight. Mr. Pig in the Hut, I beat in an online series the player you say is one of the top 2 players to beat. And yet I'm sitting here complaining to Dave that I wanted more games, and why doesn't he play me more? So I think that defeats Forever King.
Okay, good job. You play Aquaman against Batman. Great job.
Shut the fuck! I don't want to hear that bullshit, because when he picked Black Adam against me in tournament, then nobody fucking say, "Oh, good job, you gotta go to Black Adam and beat Tom." Shut the fuck up with that bullshit.
No, I would say that. I would say that. Because
I don't want to hear that.
A bad match. I know Black Adam's a bad matchup. So
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Tom,
I just want to play.
When a Black Adam beats Tom Brady's Aquaman, I'm like, yeah, that sucks. It's almost like when we run into one of our bad matchups. But, you know, if you play like a Sinestro and you beat a Sinestro, I'm like, well, he better have beat that Sinestro. Are you fucking kidding me?
Look, my point is, man, I want more games with him. I don't care who he uses. I don't care if he uses. Why do I have to wait to NEC to play something that I can just hop on Xbox Live and play?
I mean, you've got nothing to worry about, though. Just go there and mop him up at NEC.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not about, unlike you, who apparently care about mopping people up, I don't dislike competing in tournaments. It is enjoyable to play a lot of games against another player who is also playing the game at the highest possible level. I don't see Forever King online and think, fuck that, I'll just try to mop him up at NEC. No. I want to play with him God knows how many games. I want to play all his characters. I want to play all his characters hundreds of times, because there's a lot we can learn from each other, and it's fun, and we're both going to get better at the game. Beating him 10-9, I know he had to go. He said he had to go, he had to do something. But I told Dave, he never challenges me that much. You know, I never get to play him. You know, I wish he would play more. And he obviously has a problem with Aquaman, so we should play more, because we could both level up with each other a lot.
Well, I think here's the deal. I think, to be fair to both sides, I think some people don't like to lose to Tom Brady. Maybe something happened in the past, and I think that's unfair. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But at the same time, Tom, I think you're overreacting. We've talked about this many times privately. You don't need to quit this freaking game just because, you know, of some drama that's happening between.
No, it's not. It's not about the drama. My point is, I don't find it funny anymore.
Tom, I don't find a lot of things funny.
It gets to the point where I'm just, you know, I just want to be left alone. I mean, I don't, you know, look, man, it's just not funny to me where people are literally going to be rude and show me. People, I don't care what trolls that I don't give a fuck about. I could care less what they have to say. But people I respect, when they want to start talking down to me and treating me like shit, I'm like, well, you know, if over a game you're going to be just really rude to me and like this, then, I mean, honestly, man, if you're doing this as a joke, I don't find it very funny. And if this is how you're going to be because you think it's funny, dude, just leave me alone, man.
Whoa, okay. When did I talk down to you?
You talk down to me constantly.
I don't talk to you down to you. Here's the deal. You are threatened that there's another Aquaman player having success, and that's what all this has led to. And I have never...
Aquaman players that I am not threatened by. I had to hear constantly about Riot. I didn't find him a threat. I always supported Riot. I had to hear constantly about Insane. I don't find Insane a threat.
Yeah, and that video Claude posted, you said he should.
So you're telling me, Tom, so I'm gonna threaten them because I won the break with Aquaman this week?
I guess so. He is. He's a better Aquaman player. He won.
I did. I won it with Aquaman.
Yeah, you won with Aquaman, so you're a better Aquaman player. Well, first of all, here's my all right. My problem is not with Theo or anyone playing Aquaman. My problem is this rumor going around that all these players are winning with Aquaman. but Tom can't win with him.
No,
I
you
have
know the main problem is, Tom, you
plenty
care
with
too much what these
Aquaman.
people think
No,
about
no,
you.
I
my point is
agree.
I have won plenty with Aquaman, and I don't care. I'm not threatened by another Aquaman player whatsoever. I'm fine with it. But you know, I feel like there's not gonna respect you. I feel like an Aquaman player picks up Aquaman, and the first thing they want to do is prove they're better than Tom Brady, and that's
So?
flattering to me. That's fine.
So
But when I okay, that's fine. But when I try to, it's gotten to the point where I can't even talk any knowledge about the character. Anything I say about the character is considered that I'm insulting somebody else. When I describe all these problems I have when I play Aquaman, you know, it's seen as, oh, Tom's saying that Theo gets away with murder, and that's only why. Well, you don't think he's good, Tom? And that's not what it is. Or any Aquaman player. What I'm saying is what a lot of these guys are doing to win, or what a lot of these guys are doing to have a lot of success, I have done before and I've tried before, and it just doesn't give me the same success anymore. And it comes off insulting. And then it's always some rivalry, or Tom's downplaying somebody, whatever. And it's just gotten so bad that I just feel like I can't say, I uninvited myself to Sonic Boom Rap Fed. I'm like, I can't talk about this character in here. I'm not about to get in an argument with God knows how many people. I mean, it's just not fun for me anymore, man. Like,
okay, so you quit. Move on. Let's go next topic.
All right.
next
Okay.
I'm sick of this rant. This is
Hold on.
fucking
I
grown
just
men
still.
stuffing like fucking
Okay.
children.
Okay. Tom, you still there?
I'm here, man.
I hope you stick around because we brought in Rico, so I talk a bit about Black Adam. To talk a little bit about Black Adam.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me say one last thing.
Okay,
Who-
get it because we gotta move on, Tom. You can't, I don't want to talk about this the whole freaking night. Go ahead.
Who the?
What's up?
It's not that I don't want to. But I find it insulting when you see my whole thing. I started this off basically saying, "Hey, I'm a little upset because I wanted some more games and I didn't expect it." And I got guys like Pick of the Hut automatically assuming what I'm saying and saying, "Bullshit," because you're only upset. You only wanted more games because you lost. If you'd have won that set, you'd have probably quit and you wouldn't want to play them anymore. And isn't that what Pig was saying, Dave? Yes or no?
Like I said, I don't want to.
Hold on. Let me
Tom,
finish.
I don't want to get into this. I just told you we
Okay,
talked about it for
anyway,
like an hour. I'm tired. I
I'm
want to talk
saying-
about this
What
anymore.
does it matter? What does it matter? You quit.
I felt insulted by it because I played guys like Forever King or wherever, and even if I beat him, I still want to play more. And I think you, Pig of the Hut, just did a show last week or 2 weeks ago, where you were talking about, playing first to whatever doesn't really mean anything and it's dumb to do. And now you're sitting here defending it, saying that, you know what? Who cares about playing a series online? If you hop online or you go to a tournament, you just mop somebody up, you get done with your set, and you move on and play the next guy.
All right, check out, Tom. You ready?
No,
Every single win Theo had against you online is absolutely trash. It doesn't mean anything. Theo is not on your level, and there should be no reason why you shouldn't play him at any C. To me, this sounds like a bunch of dodging.
Never mind, man. I'm
cool.
bad.
Next topic.
Let's just move on. Like I said, maybe next week we can, have Theo on or something, get this over. But I really want to. This is the reason we brought in Rico to talk about Black Adam, and by God, we will talk about Black Adam. So here we go. Rico, talk about this version of Black Adam and his tournament viability. Go ahead.
Well, like at the first one that they had, that was my first touch of Black Adam. I immediately noticed that he felt sluggish on his backdash and forward dash. I don't know, he just felt weird. Like there was like lag on the PS3. His lightning ball, I also noticed that people could just hold up and it won't really trip guard unless it's like a perfect how you said, like they have to be like standing on the lightning bolt. But if you're honestly just holding up, the lightning bolt won't ever trip guard. So that actually scared me a lot more into like even trying to zone with him because I'm gonna risk of throwing out a 10% long range attack just to eat like a jump in attack, whatever the case may be, like 30 to 40%. What else did they change about him? His trade having like 4 seconds active is like whatever, because I only use it when I'm applying pressure.
Yeah.
Or when like it's towards the end of the game, which is not too bad. I didn't mind that. What else? The dive kick, adding more negative frame. I really didn't see the point of that. Pre-patch it was what, like negative 18, 16 on block? I think that was pretty fine, but now it's like negative 21 or 25, whatever. So obviously it's like there's no point in ever throwing the regular dive kick. Even if you space it out right and do it at their toes, you'll still get punished. Honestly, he's still a good character. He's great. The only thing that makes him, I would say, viable is he still has a decent runaway game, and if you're a patient player, you could obviously aggravate the other player into chasing you throughout the whole match. Just one of his biggest things too is his damage. His damage didn't get nerfed too much. But there's no real reason why people should be getting hit by the overhead unless you run into it or you forget to stand up. But that's the only thing that makes him viable is his damage. If he didn't have any decent damage, I wouldn't say he would even be like in the top tens. And by top tens, I mean anywhere from probably I would put him like from 5th to 10 and any of those numbers there.
So 5th to 10?
Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't put him in. Oh, right, 6 to 10, 6 to 10.
6 to 10. So he's still pretty. I mean, he's not as good as he used to be, but he's like from what you're saying, he still sounds like he's pretty viable. I mean, from like.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's better than like the characters you were using in in AE and in Street Fighter, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing about the tier list, especially in this patch, it's like the gap from another character is not that much.
Okay.
Far. Cause like for example, look at Flash. Flash could possibly be top 5 because the damage that he gets.
Yeah.
And a few of his OTG setups or cross up whatever unseeable mix up, he gets tremendous damage, and if you don't pay attention, you honestly could die in like off 2 combos or 2
exactly,
mix up to Flash.
What do you think? Let me ask you this question. What do you think are some bad matches for Black Adam?
In this current patch, I feel slightly now Aquaman might have the upper hand because I can't really risk of throwing out lightning, and I can't check him with reversal lightning ball. If I block a trident, he could just hold up and whatnot. Who else?
Tom, do you agree?
Batgirl.
Just 1 second, Rico. Tom, do you agree with that?
Aquaman.
Does Aquaman beat Black Adam in this version?
It's hard to say. I only got really like 9 games with Rico, so other Black Adams I play, I don't really have anywhere near the problem, and I win pretty handily. But the difference is I feel like a lot of Black Adam players kind of went to him like a pocket Black Adam, and Rico was one of the few who actually main him and obviously is the most successful. So at the highest level, it's kind of hard for me to say right now. I think it's probably even right now until I can, only because Black Adam has the ability to, he just has that constant threat of a full screen launcher against Aquaman to also keep Aquaman in check from the deep. If he didn't have that meter burn dive kick, I would say it's heavily in Aquaman's favor now because, simply because Aquaman can beat him from full screen, but it's very difficult for Aquaman to even initiate that full screen game without losing 40%. So it's, I think it's kind of an equal guessing game at this point. So it might be even. I don't know. It's tough to say right now.
Okay. Rico, who else?
Batgirl. Obviously, to obvious reasons, her smoke bomb. I can't risk of throwing anything out. Obviously, lightning ball has no hitbox, so she could just hold up like a monkey. And once she sees Black Adam, put his hands up and throw a lightning ball, black magic, whatever. That's a free smoke bomb. So if I'm in the corner, I lose 50%, and I'm trapped there because wheel kick doesn't let me out the corner. And what else? So yeah, I'm a zoning character that can't zone. So obviously that matchup is in her favor. There's no real explanation for that.
Okay.
But you don't feel like Black Adam's close-up game is really good in general?
It's good. Oh yeah, it leaves him safe. He's positive. Yeah, a down one check two Emperor hand, which is like 10%, whoopity do, as opposed to how other players that they have low starters or even better close-up game leads them to like 30 to 40%, whatever. So if I take the risk of trying to do anything besides a back one, and you're one of those ballsy players that want to press buttons or try to jump or backdash, whatever, I'll get blown up for it. You get me? So
But wait a second. Honestly, maybe Pig can comment on this. I would Pig. Would you take Zod? Would you take Zod's push, or would you take Black Adam's back two? If you had to pick one, because Zod.
Back two because of the overhead.
So back you see. I mean, like Rico, like Zod has it even worse. I mean, he pretty much has no offense whatsoever. His offense.
Right, but you're a zoning character like actually zone.
So say it again. We couldn't hear you.
Hey, your mic's breaking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a zoning character that can actually zone though.
True. But that's true.
agree.
But I'm just saying that is 100% correct. But I'm I'm saying that there's a lot of.
On Tom, you better than anybody. Even if Black Adam has that he's saved for frame advantage to a down one Emperor hand. If they're doing that too oftenly, you could just back 3 meter burn in between that string.
That's true. I do meter burn back 3 out of it a lot. But I mean, like.
So then, wait, hold on. So then I would have to take a guess if I do down one and then do a meter burn lightning bolt. But then guess what? Down one is -1 on block, plus my 26 starter frame on lightning bolt, and you can interrupt me with the down two or something if I do that string.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, but I feel like Black Adam just has like, you have to approach him with caution. You can't just run up on him because even though you can meter burn back 3 out of the Emperor hands, you have to meter burn back 3. Otherwise, it's just a save check. So basically, his down one into that really makes it tough for players to just run up on. Whereas I feel like Zod's down one obviously doesn't reach as far and it's kind of low, so characters kind of go around it or whatever. I feel like there are a lot of characters like an Aquaman or another character that can't just poke out down one special to keep players at bay when they come in. You know what I mean? So I feel like that is a good strength for Black Adam. But
no, wait, you could do down one to Trident Rush. I do that all the time, and it works pretty fine.
But Trident Rush is punished by several characters.
Okay, but let's say if you're playing footsies and spacing against your opponent, if you could react to their dash when they're dashing into you, because I always said you should nobody ever dash in this game, because it's not like it's super fast, unseeable, you can't react to it. If you have a 6 frame, you can honestly stop them from dashing in all the time. If you see most of my gameplays, I do it all the time, despite what character.
Yeah, but I mean, I play on the East Coast where everyone and their mom plays Green Lantern, so being able to down one Trident Rush them is not an option for me.
Dude, the only Green Lantern over here is Art, which is at next level, and J. Rosa at the break.
I mean, I seem to find them all. I play those guys, Orochi. Almost every tournament, you bet there's
Tom, if you actually made it out to next level and the break, you would get more experience, but for some reason you have time to go to Virginia instead of playing at the local that's right next to you.
It is, you're right, it's tough. I should make more locals. I'm going to tell Andy at Prima tomorrow that I quit so I can go to locals.
Okay.
No, wait. Oh, wait, you was working on KI like 6 months ago. I'm sorry, Tom, you're right. You should tell him that now, yeah.
Tom, you should stop quitting everything.
No, wait a second.
First of all, let me just say, don't mind my saltiness, but if you had to sit here and fight Sadira all day, every day, and then get on a call right after a nice long set, you would be an angry person too. That's just all I have to say about that. I mean, it's...
Rico, how's Zod for Black Adam?
Oh yeah, I think that's Zod. Maybe people are always gonna think I'm downplaying me. Not downplaying myself with my character, whatever. But even if you look at it on paper, if Adam jumps or whatever, or against Zod wins with that air grab, like for free. I can't do anything in the air. Even if I jump dive kick, I could be like right below his chin. He still grabs me with that air grab. The zoning, Zod just wins in the zoning war alone. If you have instant cannons down, I can't do a black magic and try to meter burn it, because if the balls are low enough, you're gonna interrupt me before the meter version comes out. And even if the meter version comes out, I'll get knocked down by the ball. So then I lose momentum and waste a meter for nothing.
Yeah, it's a 5%. It's a 5%, 13% trade.
Yeah,
because two balls are gonna hit you.
Yeah, and then Zod has his trade also, which I can't really do much of anything about. What else is a threat? Yeah, you have my pre-patch backdash, so it's like almost. I don't make a big deal out of it. I just if I feel like they're gonna backdash whatever, I just throw a meter burn lightning or a meter burn dive kick, and
Yeah,
as
yeah,
opposed to just about a in the game is pretty. If you ask me. Because obviously you play zoning character. So how are you supposed to get away if your close up game sucks?
Cincinnati.
Um. What else? No, yeah, but that matchup is obviously.
What's
wait,
going on with
say
the
it
mic? Your mic's going nuts.
No, that's not my mic.
Is that Tom? What's
Yeah.
going on? Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, that matchup is obviously in Zod's favor.
Yeah, I would agree, Pig. You agree too, right? I mean, that's really...
I definitely think it's Zod's favor. If I lose to Black Adam, it's major props to them.
Okay, I think Rico fights the matchup better than anybody I've seen, so I wouldn't be surprised if he beat up on some Black. Honestly, I think there's only like two that can threaten him anyway, but that's beside the point. Anybody? So you have Zod, you have Batgirl, you have possibly Aquaman. Anybody else you want to add?
I feel GL gives Adam a lot more problem now, especially with.
I wouldn't say that he wins though, does he?
I would say it's like 5.5 GL, maybe 6, because it's pretty annoying to deal with him too. Characters that have an air dash or like air move to like get across the map really easy. It's pretty hard for Adam to like try to zone because once again 26 auto frame is pretty slow to be honest. And by the time if you see that I do anything and before you hit the ground, it's a free punish for most of the time and. Lightning Bolt not having a hitbox, it affects his long range game pretty heavily when people jump, whatever. Because Black Magic, it trip guards, but it's pretty slow, so it doesn't. The tracking on it is not that good. So if they block my Black Magic, and I know they're gonna jump, which is unfortunate for me. I think half the cast or most characters could punish it. Like Killer Frost could do her spike from the ground. Aquaman could do Trident. Sinestro could do Shackle. So at the same time, it's like it's not even really worth throwing out Black Magic like that.
Okay. I think Green Lantern could potentially be a problem. I mean, Green Lantern, in my opinion, is probably the most well-balanced character in the game. And then if Green Lantern could move, he would probably beat everybody, which is like his only downside. I mean, the Green Lantern's got really good zoning, really good counter zoning. I mean, up close, back one is probably the best move in the game. Or at sweep range, you can't move around him up close. So, like, up close, he basically beats everybody. He's very difficult to fight from full screen. Only a few characters can do it. The only real way to beat him is to take advantage of his lack of mobility, and very few characters do that. So I feel like he could potentially be a problem for Black Adam as well. Like Rico was saying, it is a lot harder for him. So, I don't know.
That makes it. What about Sinestro?
I feel with this patch also is he's more annoying because I thought Sinestro gave me problems pre-patch whenever I did play Wound and playing to win. And I like people. I don't just go around and brag like how I used to be players, whatever. I remember one time when I used to play playing to win, I would beat him like really really bad. Like sometimes I'll beat him 10-0, 10-1, whatever. And so, but then when I played Wound Cowboy, since his playstyle's so different, because he plays very more of a solid zoning game.
Yeah.
I noticed how like annoying the matchup became, because then whenever I jumped over his Fear Blast, he would delay the meter burn version, and it would hit me out of my dive kick. It would drag me like to full screen again. So it's like I gotta like go through the obstacle course again. It's just really annoying. Then he knows how to use the trait too. Like he'll pretend that he's charging the trait and then throw out random fear blast. Because then your natural reaction when you see him charging for trait, oh snap! I got to try to do something because I can't just let him build up trait. And you get hit by the random fear blast. So then you start getting scared because you don't want to start hitting. You don't want to get hit by the random fear blast and damage. And then whenever they feel like going like balls to the walls and just hold the trait button and get it. 3 bars, whatever, for pretty quick now. It's really annoying. So, and then once he has straight out, obviously I think he's probably the best in the game. because it turns any matchup practically 7-3 because it puts the fear in you on pressing any buttons when he puts you on block streams because you don't know if he's gonna let go of it or he's gonna keep pressing more buttons or he's gonna grab you, throw you like 3/4 of the screen and start over again. Sinestro's pretty annoying.
Who's harder to fight for you, Playing to Win or Wound Cowboy?
Wound Cowboy.
Is it the zoning style or the zoning style?
Um,
Or do you think Wound Cowboy is just a better player?
I will say he's a better player with Sinestro, and I'm not saying it because of the beef that I had with Playing to
Okay.
Win.
All right, that's fine.
Honestly, I always said the thing about Playing to Win, he relies so much on that 50-50.
You're
Well,
talking
once you
about
start-
the
I mean,
Vortex.
this Vortex. I mean, he is really good with it, though. That Vortex.
No, yeah, he's good with it, but at the same time, like just like anybody that relies on Vortex stuff, once somebody can't get that started, or once people start blocking it, they're practically somewhat done. Because like, okay, so what are you gonna do now to actually get real damage?
Yeah. I mean, he still zones very well, too. I haven't got to play Wound Cowboy that much overall with Sinestro. I only played him like 5 total games, so it's a. But Playing to Win, he still does. He's a lot better far away from range than I think I've ever seen him. I mean, like I know a few months ago he was definitely more of an up close Sinestro, but I think he's definitely a little more balanced out now, where he's got the full screen game a little better now.
Well, I definitely been practicing that matchup a lot more now. There's a lot of things that I learned in that matchup that I didn't know back then with in that matchup. But I'm not gonna give any of that out because obviously I do have $1,000 money match going.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, you kind of have that thing happening.
What
Yeah,
about the Flash?
See, this is the thing because like people, I think Adam even pre-patch, I'll definitely say he was in the top 5 in no specific order, but at the same time, don't make him seem like Black Adam was like such a godly tier like character in his own tier because he has flaws and he has holes in his game. And by holes, I mean like I was mentioning earlier, down one into Emperor hand, you can back to the meter burn. If I do the lightning, you can interrupt me. If I do meter burn, dive kick, and dash up, that's an illusion. That's not a real guaranteed frame advantage, whatever. You can actually down one me out of it if you have a 6 or 7 frame and punish me for dashing in. What else? There's just a lot of things in Adam that people just never took advantage because they were all practically too scared. They wouldn't press buttons. They wouldn't know when to press them, or they wouldn't react to the lightning bolt at mid screen and punish him for it. Oh yeah, but back to the Flash. Flash is really scary.
But 1 second. But you will hear somebody like 60 minutes say, you know what, man? But Rico, with Catwoman, I just couldn't get in. What am I supposed to do? I mean, that character was just ridiculous for me. I mean, that's what somebody like he would say.
Catwoman she has like one of the best jump twos in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then she has like that overhead that comes in, and then if you notice that the Black Adam is always backdashing, just throw a YOLO what is that cat slide, whatever it's called, like meter burn or whatever.
Cat dash.
Yeah, like jump to and then meter burn or whatever in case they try to backdash. You punish them. You start conditioning them. You start getting them where you want them. I don't see how it's like.
Well, I feel like Catwoman wasn't that bad of a fight because I mean she does have the meter burn cat dash. So Black Adam just can't run away lightning, run away lightning. He can't just do that because when she does have meter, she has big damage potential. I feel like Black Adam. What made Black Adam such the problem overall was simply that because up right now, his up close game is pretty balanced with the rest of his game. But there was a point where Black Adam's close up game was too strong because of how good his runaway game was. I mean, there was a time where you just, you could say react to the lightning, but in reality, if you reacted to the lightning and jumped on reaction, it would still hit you. You had to preemptively jump. So because you got fucking people jumping up.
Whoa, Tom, I gotta stop you there. 26 frame versus Aquaman's 18 frame. Whenever I try to react to Aquaman's from the deep with an instant dive kick, no matter how good or fast my reaction is, guess what? Your trident comes out the ground like 9 feet.
That's true, but Aquaman does not have a full screen dive kick that's advantage. Aquaman does not have that kind of runaway. He doesn't have that kind of mobility, and he doesn't have that kind of safety. I mean, I understand it's 26 frames.
Wait. Aquaman doesn't have safety?
Not.
Sir, you have a combo breaker every 12 seconds. Yeah.
And then full screen launcher, like dive kick, come on. Really, if you're getting hit by full screen dive kick, it's because obviously you're whiffing something or doing something you're not supposed to.
I have a combo. Give me. I'm not gonna get an Aquaman yet. But, my point is Black Adam. Like, I felt like before it was a bit too much because you could not reacting to it when you saw the cloud go over his head. If you were to jump, the lightning is gonna hit you because it has an airborne hitbox. Even though I'm in the air, now I can see the cloud go over his head. I could jump it. And it's pretty easy to
react, train. But you wouldn't get hit by it on the way up if you actually reacted to it properly.
It was really, really, really. It was a pain in the ass. I mean, it was just. But the thing is, my point is like his mobility was really, really good. He outdamages a lot of characters in the chip from far away, and he has situations like when he gets in. He gets like, certain strings or certain pokes to trait, and then you got a free throw attempt. Even if you broke that, you still lose 14%, 2% from the throw, 12% from the yeah, I mean, push block once the orbs come. My point is, it was his keep away game was probably a bit too powerful for a lot of the other characters in the game. I mean, I just feel like that. I feel like that
mobility, but it wasn't like too powerful. Okay, not for nothing. The whole time I've been playing this game, at next level I had to do with another Black Adam that everybody had problems with, Dragon God. The whole time that I played this guy, he never really has beaten me. I never seen Black Adam throw any. At least I could react to his lightning bolt and whatever. Whenever he throws it out, I'll just instant dive kick. But Aquaman, whenever I get rewarded for reacting, for you doing your trident. The minute I see that animation, since your trident is 9 feet off the ground, I jump, I get clipped. I'm like, wow, really? So I have to psychically jump and try to guess when he's going to do it because I can't even react.
But your point about the Black Adam and Dragon God, that's like me saying, you guys are all overrating Aquaman because I've never had a problem one day against Aquaman. I play these Aquaman players, they don't get near me. They don't do any of these things on me, and it's a mirror, right?
At TFC, I played King in the first of 10, Aquaman versus Black Adam, and not for nothing, King. You're a great player, but I beat up his Pocket Adam pre-patch with my Aquaman.
I've beaten his Pocket Adam before too. The only time his Pocket Adam beat me was those 2 games. It just happened to be in the tournament. That match was very difficult. But
as you were saying earlier, though, since I play you all the time, that means I shouldn't lose to Aquaman. Since you obviously play either the best or one of the best Black Adams, you should be very well experienced against Pocket Black Adam.
I feel like you made a convincing argument one time to Reo about Scorpion when you said, Reo, you're beating me 20-0. Am I so stupid that after all this time I can't adjust to this character? I'm not that stupid. Yet you are literally saying that everyone else is just too stupid to adjust to you. And I find that...
Because I went into CEO, I even had problems losing. I had a hard time fighting the 5 Scorpion players I had in my pool, and then I ended up getting beat by a Scorpion player that wasn't even on Rio's level. And now it's just the character. It wasn't just me.
Wait, what do you think? I also listened to the other podcast by 16-Bit Slips and KTP. What do you think? Like, I don't know, like Slips says stuff like that. Pre-patch Scorpion was fine. Give me your thoughts on that. We discussed it, last. I gave my thoughts. Pig has his thoughts. Tom has his thoughts. What do you think about that?
It's ridiculous.
In my opinion, I'm pretty sure everybody knows it. It wasn't fine. I don't see how a day 1 character should be beating up anybody's 1 month, 2 month, 3 month main character. It's like in Street Fighter. I don't mean to compare the 2 games. In Street Fighter, you have your obvious top tier like Seth, Fei Long, Cammy, whatever. That's like if Reo or whoever picks up the game, they pick the top tier in that game. You can't just beat anybody that just had months or years of experience playing Street Fighter. Because you as a player have to build your way up there with that character. You have to spend time and learn the matchup in and out and show why it's a bad matchup or why this character is top tier. Scorpion, however, it just made most of these players just exceed. It's crazy. I'm like, wow. So even Forever King 2, he was another one when the game came out. Scorpion came out. I play them online, even though Scorpion online is worse because you can't really react to the teleport. He just mops me up like pretty bad, and I'm like, okay, so I guess this character. Even Keen admitted it to me. Yeah, this character is pretty dumb, like so super easy. PL is another one. I played them when we used to play. He even though he says online don't matter or whatever, right? But then he did brag about how he beat me 18-0 with pre-patch Scorpion. And it's like, okay, so all of a sudden now PL could beat me now with this one character, but whenever he played like Black Adam and all these other OP characters, he wouldn't beat me or dominate me as bad at all.
Yeah.
And my reason why I would say that maybe 16-bit and these people didn't think that there was nothing wrong with Scorpion because I guess obviously Killer Frost beat Scorpion because he really can't. He has to guess. He has to keep guessing, and at that time, Killer Frost was pretty dumb. She will kill you like in 2 combos, whatever, 2 to 3 combos, and you constantly have to guess over and over and stuff. And obviously Scorpion can't get away with that. And she actually had a decent down too.
Well, Dave, I wasn't on that show last week real fast. Let me weigh in on Scorpion real quick.
Okay,
I know
go
that
ahead.
Pig of the Hut has apologized. I know that we did that one podcast. What was it, after CEO, I believe? And everybody waited on Scorpion, and Pig said, you know what? He believes he might have spoke too soon and he was mistaken. Reo also said the same thing. Myself and Dave, you and I, neither one of us apologized. I will say my thoughts on Scorpion are that I think what really caused a lot of panic was when the first hotfix came out, even though they nerfed the flip kick, when they made the second teleport high, that I think really caused a problem because I think what happened was it would be one thing if, you know, you didn't, like if you could say, you know what, Scorpion's really fucked up. I heard what Slip said. He's going to dictate. It sucks, so on and so forth. Okay, I understand it. But I feel like it would be one thing if you said, you know what, I'm not getting involved in this. I was watching Pig try to fight against Scorpion one time, and 16 bits like you got to jump, you got to hold down. But the thing is, Scorpion players are not stupid. You know, once they realized the teleport was high, and people were like, you know, when they would fight people that say, you know what, I'm not going to hold up, I'm not going to get hit out of the air, I'm just going to sit here and duck so I don't get crossed up. The teleport, when it started to hit high, it remember how fast it used to recover back then? You know, when they made it high, it recovered.
The recovery was different, yeah.
Yeah. So you start holding down. I feel like that it being high was too much. I feel like when you say, I don't want to get mixed up by Scorpion, if he's going to do a meter burn teleport, let me just block it, let him waste his meter, and then when he runs out, you know, whatever, he can't have me block it forever, and then he'll be fucked. But then Scorpion players started whiffing regular teleports and whatever, and it was just too much. They were able to get away. They were able to do the same thing even without meter. And then you try to punish the regular one, and there's a meter burn when you get fucked, and then you're like, well, I got to punish both of them. Then you got to guess for one. You got to start jumping up and down like a maniac to stop one. You know, you got to hold down and guess that the second one's coming to punish that one. And then he has all these fucking air attacks that are like 4 frames with his jumping 1. His jumping 3 is ridiculous. It was just too many options, and it was.
No, and then also Tom, not to cut you off, like for instance, when I was playing Reo, right? Let's say if you do play like Aquaman or somebody with a decent uppercut, so he knows that your natural reaction that when he jumps towards you with Scorpion, he knows you're gonna try to uppercut because that's your natural reaction. You're just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna just crouch and let Scorpion jump in for free and like not do anything. I'm not gonna try to stand block or whatever. Anyway, so if he knows you're gonna try to uppercut, he there was no risk of him of just throwing out, okay, I'm gonna jump towards him and then do a meter burn teleport just at the exact range where he could uppercut me. Because more than likely, 8 out of 10, you're gonna try to uppercut him. Because
Yeah, I feel like it was a combination of things. I feel like, you know, the way Injustice system is worked, it's kind of like a thing where you have to accept not every character is going to have these great anti-airs. But that's okay. You know, you're taught Injustice fundamentals are, if someone's going to keep jumping at you like a maniac, even if you're not going to anti-air, you can outspace them with the jump and whiff, and then you punish them. Well, the problem is with Scorpion, he's jumping at you with attacks that Aquaman can't even anti-air. I mean, I could not anti-air Scorpion's jumping one on reaction. I had to preemptively uppercut. So he's jumping at you with jumping attacks that are hard for Aquaman to anti-air. So obviously other characters are not going to air it. They're not going to anti-air it. They're just going to have to block it. So he's jumping at you with safe attacks that if you go to, you have to stand block because, you know, you're and they're really fast. You have to stand block because then you're fucking dead. But then he can mix that up safely. Or he could make one of them a cross-up, which is a jumping 3, which also is a stupid air-to-air tool as well because of how low Scorpion's jump was. And it was just too many options. You're guessing. You can't approach him because his jumping attacks are really good. He's jumping back and he got his teleport. He can jump in, he can crush you up, he can teleport. And then he has the option to do a regular teleport. I feel like if at least the regular teleport stayed mid and was unsafe as it is now, that I feel like it would really help the mind game so that this way the Scorpion player, if he ever decides, you know what, I'm going to test this motherfucker into a regular teleport, I don't want to use any meter here, that he knows he's going to get punished. You can just defend against both teleports simultaneously. And I feel like when you didn't have that ability, it was too much. I feel like maybe his jumping attack, the way they nerfed his jumping attacks, they probably should have just nerfed the jumping attacks, kept the meter burn teleport, slight advantage, and made his teleport, mid, regular teleport mid, and Scorpion would still have that really good offensive jumping game. He would still have those really good cross-up mix-ups. He would still have a safe meter burn teleport. He would just, I don't know. Or maybe nerf his jumping 1, keep his jumping 3 so he still had that good cross-up. And, he wouldn't be able to okie dokie with his teleports, and he would still have a safe meter burn version. I think that probably would have been a little better.
Rico, let me...
Well, hold on, Dave. Just back on the CEO topic. I thought that was a bad showcasing.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I think that was a bad showcasing because everybody was talking about Scorpion, but then when the people that got top 8 with Scorpion, they decided not to really even play them. Deg decided to play Harley for some reason on his first match.
That's true.
Junior didn't even play Scorpion the whole way. PL didn't even play Scorpion the whole way. I forgot who was the other Scorpion player. But whatever, anyway. None of them really showcased the Scorpion, how it was supposed to be. Oh, yeah, Reo and stuff. Reo whips out his
he went to
fucking...
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and then he played his rusty-ass, Batman. It didn't even look like a real Batman up there. I was like, what the heck is that? You've been playing Scorpion this whole time, and now you're going to play Batman and Wonder Woman? I don't get it at all.
I feel like when Slips made those comments, and Dave has taken a lot of slack for complaining about Deathstroke's low shots. I mean, Dave, from the beginning, has said Deathstroke's low shots, and everyone always told Dave, listen, Deathstroke is still fine. Dave, correct me if I'm wrong here, they said the low shots were too powerful, they allowed Deathstroke to dictate way too much, and that they needed to be nerfed. Am I correct in that? That's what people said, right?
Yeah.
Well, Slipsky came on that podcast, and he said, you know what, Scorpion... he was going to dictate, it sucks, but hey, in other fighting games, you got characters who dictate just like this, and it's messed up, and it sucks, but hey, you got to deal with it. The difference is, in those other fighting games, they don't start taking away other tools by the same logic. I feel like once you start taking a character like Deathstroke and saying, these low gunshots, they dictate, it sucks to deal with it, we don't want something that dictates this strong. We want you to be able to play the game a little better. We want you to be able to be a little more proactive in this game, and we don't like something like this. But then you give the same thing to Scorpion. I feel like, if, you can't start taking away from these characters and say because they dictate too much and it sucks, and then give it to this character over here and say, yeah, he dictates and it's fine. I feel like if nobody would have ever been nerfed and everybody would have stayed as dirty as they were day one, and you drop Scorpion in, fine, he fits right in with everybody else. But once you start taking and taking and taking, and then you drop Scorpion in, hey, that sucks, It's not the same. It's not the same scenario, And the whole ban Scorpion thing, which we took a lot of flack about, it wasn't so much that we wanted to ban him permanently. What we're really saying is we want him nerfed, But since
normalized,
we want him normalized. But since they're not normalizing him in time for these tournaments coming up, then he should be banned for those tournaments. We weren't trying to say ban him, 16-bit and Slips have both said to me he should have been nerfed. And apparently he was going to be, or normalized. Apparently he was going to be normalized. Obviously guys like NetherRealm, they can't go forward and say, hey, listen, he's a DLC character, we're still going to normalize him, give us some time. Because once you get in the media and you start admitting that, because some people will probably say things like, oh, there's NetherRealm, releasing characters that are dumb, and then, I mean, it's a lose-lose scenario whenever you go into the media, and they realize that.
No, we understand, they're trying to make money. That's fine. But let me ask you, Rico, what do you think? Did we do the right thing, or was it the most embarrassing moment in MK history?
No, you guys did the right thing, but like I said, Evo, I mean not Evo, CEO, they should stick to their guns. They should have stick to Scorpion, and show people why this character was whatever and stuff. But nobody really went with that. So then it made those people look like, wow, all this complaint about Scorpion, but then you guys didn't play him in top 8. But they played Scorpion throughout the whole tournament. That made no sense.
Yeah, I never really got to see PL Scorpion play that much. He didn't use it. But Reo, I'm using Reo for the example of, and Rico Suave used an example that I used when I was saying we made the right move. With Scorpion, no matter how dumb some of these characters may have been in Injustice, you couldn't pick up a character, not even Superman day one, could you pick up and start 20-0ing somebody that was good at the game, months later. Yeah, you couldn't pick up a character and start. Even people say Martian Manhunter, yada yada yada. You can't pick up Martian Manhunter right now and start crushing people with him without knowledge of the character. You just can't do it. Scorpion, I feel like, what made the argument more convincing, I was over there on Phil's stream, and I heard Rico Suave side, and I heard everybody's side, Junior, and I heard all sides of the arguments. And then I got to thinking, what? The bottom line is, these guys, I've always told Rio this too, you were playing a Scorpion this way the first 5 minutes of the game, and you were beating people 20-0, 30-0, 50-0, whatever it may be. 1 month later, you were still doing the exact same things and still beating the exact same top players 20-0, 30-0, whatever. And I'm just like, I found it hard to believe that after 1 month that nobody on this planet, outside of maybe a Killer Frost or Catwoman or a character that generically has the tools to deal with it. Like Killer Frost, she has her slide, so she can slide. And we know that
16-bit is a hypocrite. I mean, that's a fact.
No,
he is. Of course, it's low shots. Wait a minute, I can't slide against low shots, but I can slide against a teleport. Okay, I guess low shot needs to be nerfed.
Or even Cat. I feel like Catwoman was also good because Scorpion.
I know.
Used to go to the. Scorpion going to the air was a big thing. I think we all agree Scorpion needed to be in the air. He couldn't fight you on the ground, but he couldn't go to the air on Catwoman because she's doing shit like jump 2s, and her jump 2 is going to out prioritize him and beat him out of the air. A lot of times even before he can teleport. So and then she's going to knock him out of the air, cat dash, and then he's in trouble. What she can also do, when Scorpion's like at range from full screen, when he jumps, there's no teleport mix-up. She can just throw that cat dash out. If she blocks it from full screen in general, the meter burner one, it's not going to be any. She can't punish it from that distance. But so from far away, she can cat dash at him, and the meter burn version, if he happen to teleport, she can burn it and they'll just come back around and still punish him. So she has moves that go forward and simultaneously avoid and punish the teleport. She knocks him out of the air. So I don't want to say Catwoman fought him anywhere near as Killer Frost did, but Catwoman was one of those characters who can fight Scorpion significantly better than a lot of other characters. But I feel like other characters in the game, they didn't even stand a chance against them for the most part. And I do understand.
Like all zoning characters, I think they got mopped up at least 7-3. I mean, I don't think it was even a discussion. Right?
Yeah, maybe so. But I mean, I feel like the thing with Scorpion was just that people's thing was Scorpion nerfed too much now. Possibly. I mean, I didn't, and I don't think any of us meant to make a stink this big about Scorpion to the point that to where it got. I think what we were just trying to say was it was just too early to allow Scorpion
Tom, it's not Tom. If Scorpion hits you in a combo, right, and he does the get over here, the stinger thing, right, then from there, right, it was a guessing game. Overhead or low. You can react to the overhead if you weren't too scared of holding low. But then if you hold low and he goes, he could just do an instant jump one overhead teleport and get the whole mix up again. So
yeah,
how are you supposed to react to that? Seriously.
And then instant jump cross out. I mean, but my point is like when I supported the ban Scorpion, I didn't so much mean ban him from every tournament. I just felt like it was way too soon to allow him at CEO, definitely too soon to allow him at Evo. But I think the point we were all coming from was because these TOs were adamant that Scorpion will be allowed, we said the only thing we can do is ban him until he basically gets passed. So I think I know they were saying it's the most embarrassing thing in the history of this community, but I mean, we weren't so much trying to get him permanently banned, just he shouldn't be allowed until either he gets patched or we have a little more time to make a decision whether he should be allowed or not. Because I don't feel like a tournament I feel like CEO was really soon after Scorpion got released. Probably not enough time for Scorpion players to really expose, especially how even more dirty he was. But I feel like Evo to be the first tournament where Scorpion players really have a lot of time to really see how fucked up they can make him. I feel like that's a really bad time to say the World Tournament will be the ultimate test for Scorpion. That's the wrong kind of tournament to test if something is or is not broken, because a lot of guys are paying a lot of money to go to Evo, and if it turns out he was too much, a lot of guys paid a lot of money to get there, and it's like, and this is what happened, and then, a little tap on the shoulder. Well, at least we know. Sorry about that. That's not really going to console anybody.
Well, I just had a problem with 60-bit calling it the most embarrassing moment in the,
Are you guys still talking? Hey,
yeah.
Sorry, are you guys still talking about Scorpion?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, text me when you're done. I'm done with this conversation.
Okay.
I don't participate in Scorpion conversations.
No, Pig, Pig, just stay here. I think you want to hear this. I just think he called it. Just 1 second. He called it the most embarrassing moment in MK history. Let me tell you what the most embarrassing moment in MK history is. A guy using pre-patch Killer Frost and being unable to win a tournament. 60-bit's biggest accomplishment is beating Pig of the Huts, Sinestro, pre-patch Sinestro, who didn't have all those buffs now that he has. That's his biggest accomplishment. So pretty much.
I don't want to hear this. I lost.
Doesn't Killer Frost Doesn't Killer Frost beat Sinestro like 7-3 or something like that?
Well, yeah, okay, right now, but back then she probably beat him 8-2. That's probably 16-bit's biggest.
It was awful. It was awful.
So with that said, let's move on. And I
wait. One thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing that I heard about the podcast from 16-bit that I didn't like or agree on was, for instance, he said like, didn't you ended up losing to Reo at Evo? So obviously it wasn't Scorpion. Well, little did you know, when they nerfed Scorpion, Reo and I played almost every day. And not to put Reo on blast, whatever, because he kept getting better and better like each day. I would win most of the sets, 30 to whatever, like single digits. And then eventually Reo started getting into the double digits and whatever and stuff. And then obviously, I don't know, at Evo, I played like crap or he played better than me. And whatever. I didn't mind losing to an East Coast player. Chris puts me in loser too. And before I fought Chris, I was so psyched out because I'm like, I hope that Chris G doesn't beat me the one day that, it really matters, whatever. And he does whatever, so more power to him. So I ended up losing to two East Coast players, and 16-bit also said like, but didn't the West Coast player plays better than Rico? Because he was asking Arma how would the West Coast player fare against me, since obviously they haven't played me. And it was like, but didn't Theo and these players play better than him, and blah blah blah. And it's like, you can't really say that off a tournament. It's all based on brackets and who they run into, who they gotta play, and this and that, whatever. I mean, like on my bracket side, at my pools I had Flazilla, RTD, and Black Mamba, and then I had to play Tom, I had to play some other guy, and then Chris G, and then after I lost to Chris G, I had to play GGA Dizzy, Perfect Legend, and then Reo. And Chris G, I believe, was semis or a match before to qualify for top 8. And then Reo, it was 2 qualifying to top 8. And honestly, the only the people that give me a hard time was obviously the players that I had played against. The West Coast offense it was something like it was just like a walk in the park. No offense to Flazilla and the others, but it really was. It wasn't nothing like, oh my god, I'm playing like Tom's Aquaman. I gotta actually think now, or anything like that. But yeah, just for 16-bit saying that, whatever. That's really what I have to say about all that.
Let me ask you this, like, in this community, like, a lot of times you're portrayed like as a whiner, a sore loser, like a guy who's gonna quit the game, unless he gets us his way. What do you think about that?
Whiner, no, not really, because I never really complain about much of like the cast. The only one character I ever cried about was Scorpion. It just didn't make any sense. Whatever. Maybe I should just give him off to never not saying anything to anybody, and like in general. But it's not like I was constantly crying about Superman. Like, oh yeah, this character is so dumb. 70% in the corner, ban him or this and that. Please nerf him already. But stop him win or do something or whatever.
Ban him. No, I'm joking.
Or pre-patch Killer Frogs. Yeah, I understand that maybe Adam beat her just because he's always in the air. But at the same time, was it really fair that she can kill you like in 2 to 3 combos because you got to guess high and low, and she's safe from it?
Rico, your mic is acting weird again.
No, sorry. Shall I repeat that, or you got that?
Yeah, I got just make sure.
We got it. We got it.
Okay. Who else? Like Batgirl too. Like she has like safe vortex, 50% in the corner. Her wheel kick in the corner. If she knows you're gonna jump, if they react perfectly, you can't jump over it or neutral jump. It drags you back down, and you really can't do nothing much about it. So it's like, all these other characters has a lot of bull crap in it, but I never really complained. I just dealt with it because like this is how the game was designed for these characters. Scorpion, on the other hand, I just it's obvious reasons, just didn't make any sense really.
Like, what about when you said on Twitter that you were gonna quit the game? Do you think you overreacted? Because I know, like, when Deathstroke was nerfed, I overreacted. I was like, I thought this character was trash. I mean, he isn't trash. I mean, but at the same time, he isn't any good either. But do you think?
No, I mean, obviously, I did feel some sort of way. Honestly, I'm still surprised that I'm winning as much as I have or been consistent. Like, not to be off track. Like, for instance, at next level, the first 2 times I got like second place and then fourth or third, whatever. And then after that, like, basically, like I've been undisputed at next level for like the past 6-7 months whenever they had it. At the break, the whole time that I've been going there pre-patch and post-patch, I only lost 1 time, and that was that 1 time that I brought Tom, Reo, Jr. with me and all, because I really wanted it to be like a really good turnout and like have more competition and try to help the scene grow and whatnot. But yeah, I guess like it really did hurt me a bit, and I just didn't. I really, like I said, I don't think it was that necessary because the matches that I really found that I thought was annoying, and I felt like maybe this character probably beat him slightly. If they definitely nerf him, they're definitely gonna beat him now. Like it's definitely gonna be a lot harder for me. Just because maybe I was winning, or just because Adam was winning a lot of tournaments, whatever, and stuff. They probably guess like, oh no, but since he's winning this much with Black Adam, Black Adam must be overpowered. He must be like OP or something, whatever. Which is not the case, honestly. Most of these characters have to cast. If people play these characters, they don't play them at a really high level yet, or they don't probably abuse certain things that I mentioned earlier that they could have gotten away with against Black Adam. But like I said, most people when they fight Black Adam, they're really scared. Just like when the game came out, everybody thought that Black Adam was like super crazy when the game came out, right? But it's because you have to fight Adam in a certain playstyle. You can't duck against him because if you duck, you're only asking to eat about 40 to 50% damage. Once you see a black cloud, you duck, and really that's about it. And most of the other things are just an illusion, really. But then again, I could be downplaying my character.
Almost every single tournament has been won by Superman or Black Adam. I think that NetherRealm probably got tired of watching streams and seeing the same 2 characters win every single tournament, every single local. The
same 2 players that will win with these characters, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
There was one week where Black Adam won every single local around the country. And the same thing happened with Superman.
Dude, that was like at the beginning. That the only time that I remember that was at the beginning because people still didn't really know how to play Black Adam.
Superman won Evo, Black Adam won Summer Jam, TFC was won by Superman. Next level and the break are won by either Superman and Black Adam. The West Coast is usually.
Hello?
Tom, you there?
Well, no, I don't agree with that because once
by
again,
Superman almost every single week by a different player.
but it's the same player with the same
I
character
feel,
he's talking about.
huh?
You're making it seem like the Black Adam and Supermans that were winning were a different player every time.
Sometimes they were. I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
either way,
well,
either way, it was
Smarrgasm. Okay,
giving
well,
credit to the player. I'm not gonna.
Smarrgasm was.
Smarrgasm was winning.
What about
Okay.
West?
And
Okay,
something against
Smarrgasm-
Smarrgasm. These are all really good players. The whole point is
No,
that
he's a good player, but don't get me wrong. Okay, for the whole 6-7 months that it's been out, okay, that's like me. You don't see me bragging about like me being undisputed at next level or me winning the break this many times. I don't even bother with that.
No, I mean,
Smarrgasm in the whole 6-7 months of the game been out, he won like I think what like 5 locals at most or whatever, 5, 6. So how is that like really saying that Black Adam is dominating the
well,
tournament?
those tournaments had a lot more players. The Battle and Bruce have a lot more players that go to them than the break and next level. And I feel like Battle and Brew has a lot more variety of character also.
Right,
you know,
but okay, not for nothing, but I don't see Saltface going over there because I know he's one of like their top players.
he does go. He goes to Battle
No,
and Brew.
he hasn't been going lately. And the few times that he won. Pig hasn't been going lately either. I'm pretty sure the turnout would have been different.
I mean, these guys do go,
Hey,
and I feel like the diversities. I mean, I feel like the character diversity. I mean, I watch Battle and Brew, and I see Hawk Girl, Sinestro, Superman, Black Adam, Zod, Grundy, Raven. I mean, Batman, Batgirl. You go to the next level, you basically know. Look, man, be ready for one of 3 characters, and you're good. Same thing with the break. You go to a tournament like Battle and Brew, you could be ready for Black Adam all day long. Are you ready for Hawk Girl? Are you ready for Raven? Are you ready for
How is that like New York's fault or the East Tri-State area? That's how it is though. That's unfortunate for us.
I don't understand it, but what I'm saying is to say, oh, a character has only won a local 5 times. I mean, there are some really, first of all, that local usually has a lot of good players at it, more players than most other locals do, and the character diversity is much wider. So, like I said, if you always go to a local over here, as long as you know these 3 characters, you're good. You could know no other matchup in the entire game besides 3 and have the same success every single week because those are the only 3 you have to worry about. You go over there, and maybe Smarrgasm are good against all 20 of the 30 characters. But this week he's got to fight these 10 that he's not as familiar with, or for any player there. And you have to worry. Whenever you have more characters and more play styles, because you have more players playing more characters, you have a lot more to take into account for. You have to learn multiple play styles with a lot more characters than some of the smaller locals.
I agree with you on that, but this is the thing that makes me look like, I guess, of a dickhead or whatever. If I was to say that I already played some of the players that play down there from the Atlanta scene and say what they said about me or whatever the case may be and stuff, it would, I don't even want to say it because then it will make me look like, oh yeah, you're just being cocky now, Rico, because obviously because this and that, whatever, and stuff. And how do I say it? It's like, I don't know how to say it, Tom, because if I say it's gonna make me look like a dick or whatever.
Put it this way, then.
Doesn't
Let me say
matter,
this
say
for you,
it.
then. Is it fair to say that perhaps you were, let's be serious here, we all know, but there were a lot of players who were not having the success you were with Black Adam, but who picked up Black Adam as a pocket character and were still having a lot of success. Not to the level you had, but they were. And that possibly you got lumped in with a lot of those guys, where people felt like, hey, these guys are only having this success because of Black Adam. And then they look over and see Rico Suave doing this stuff over here, and they say, you know what, Rico, he hasn't lost in a while. He's probably, he's probably lumped in with those guys. He's only having that success. Look, Black Adam is broken. Look at Rico Suave. He's winning also.
Okay, for instance, next level though, Chris G, right? Chris G used to be somewhat like, it wasn't so hard to beat him, but then every time. At that time, when next level was really like great and a lot of people were actually going, every time it was me and Chris J in grand finals or whenever I got to play him, it kept getting harder and harder because then he kept learning how to fight Adam. He kept learning that he could actually zone me with fire arrows and how to avoid. He's one of the few players that jumps over my lightning bolt on reaction the majority of time. So, after a while, sometime maybe even come to the last game or to the Wired and stuff, and him using Green Arrow. So it's like I don't really don't see how people really want to make it seem that Black Adam was so OP.
Well, I think here's my point. I think maybe you could make an exception for Black Adam, but I don't see how you can make an exception for Superman. I'm sorry, but that character was ridiculous. That character, in my opinion, beat half the cast 7-3. Just like Cabal, there's no difference whatsoever. Except Cabal required execution, where Superman didn't.
I mean, you know what? Talking about what character should or shouldn't be nerfed is a moot point. I mean, obviously, I think it's absolutely stupid when anyone says a character got nerfed because of the. I feel like obviously a character got nerfed because they were just looking at the results. Whatever the reason may be, those two characters are basically the ones doing absolutely everything, for whatever the reason may be. I feel like it got to the point where everybody felt like, don't play anybody else besides Superman or Black Adam. That's all you need, and you'll be okay. And I think that.
Dude, the only Superman that was winning, or one of the two, was either Theo, here and there, because at Wednesday Night Fight, at least they had a different placing, like for different players. And then the other Superman was KDZ. Black Adam, honestly, he's a really cool-looking character. Who wouldn't actually want to play with Black Adam? Like, oh, this character looks freaking awesome. As opposed to like, hey, how about you play Wonder Woman or something, or whatever, or Raven.
Yeah, that's true.
So people, a lot of people would say like, oh no, Black Adam is so. There's a lot of Black Adam players. Like, he's probably one of the coolest characters in the game.
But why is that such a big deal? With the game more balanced than ever, people saying that a character should go back to being stronger.
Cool, Black Adam? No, I don't. Dude, I don't even say nothing anymore. It's like whatever. I'll just deal with it. I'll just deal with these matchups.
I mean, why does this community harp on the past so much?
Like, Tom, you can't even say that because not for nothing, Tom, not to put you like on blast or whatever on the spotlight. But you how can this community be one of those players that be like, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore because on the upcoming patch, they're gonna fix this and that, and I don't have to deal with it anymore. It's like, really, that's how you look at yourself as a player. You don't want to deal with it now, so that when it gets patched up, it'd be a lot easier for you and whatnot.
I look at it like I have no sympathy on anything that gets nerfed. I was a huge victim of that in the past game, and nobody shed any tears for me. So I don't see why it should be a big deal. You just play. It's a simple thing. You're either going to play the current version of the game and focus on that, or you're going to spend all day saying how, and I'm not singling you up for this. I'm not saying it's you, but I'm saying in general, or you're going to. I feel like this community spends more time talking about the previous versions of the game and how wrong they were, or how this shouldn't have been done and that shouldn't have been done, as opposed to saying, fuck it, it's been done, let's talk about what's going on now.
Well, right now, can't say much because there hasn't been any majors. NEC is the only real big one, and everybody's obviously going to go to it. So obviously, we can't talk about the present because there isn't any a lot of major going on. That's back then in the summer and stuff.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask all three of you guys a question. The depth of injustice has been called into question several times. I mean, we are in a community where people are literally waiting for MK10 to come out. Now, it's my opinion that Injustice has got a lot of depth to it. It's a fun game. I'm just... it's my opinion that this community doesn't know what they want. That they'll say they want a game, and then when they get what they want, if they're not having any success at it, they'll say, you know what, this game isn't fun or doesn't have depth, wait for MK10. But I feel like when MK10 comes out, they'll have the same problem and then be waiting for MK11.
Well,
what do you guys feel about Injustice?
I want to respond real quick. What are you guys feeling about Injustice? We're going to get back to that question one second. I want to say one thing. I will say, although Smarrgasm has not performed to his liking at majors and stuff, I truly believe in him as a player, and he's definitely excelling and getting better every day. So I do think that he will join the ranks of Black Adams that win. He won't. I don't think he'll reach the. I mean, he could. I don't think he'll reach the level of success that Rico's had thus far. I mean, what Rico's done is crazy. I mean, that's his really good track record. But I could see him getting the top 8 in the major and being known as a. I would pick Smarrgasm as top 3 as an Adam player. That's nothing against the guy at all. My thing is,
it's just people were making it seem like the Black Adam was so OP that anybody could just play with him and win. And it's like, you
I
can't
agree.
say that. But PL tried, nobody talks about this. PL tried his Black Adam against Chris G, SEO Grand Final. And what happened? It got beat up pretty bad because obviously Chris fights Black Adam every week at his local. And who else tried like Black Adam here and there and didn't really get
Godspeed.
Junior tried Black Adam only one time when I was playing Aquaman at Next Level, and I ended up beating the bad matchup and it's so bad for Aquaman, whatever. And on top of that, like that's another thing that I was trying to tell Tom, like, why do you care what people think or say? Because somebody's playing with that character. So that's like me saying that, oh, I guess Godspeed is just way better than me because Godspeed made top 8 at Evo and I did, and I'm a fraud. I suck.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm going to defend my boy because I believe in what he does. I believe in him as a player.
Yeah, I believe in him too. And I also think it's something that said where you have to have a lot of. It takes more experience. Look, no matter who you are, it's much easier to figure out how to fight 3 characters than it is to fight 30 characters. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like when you go to Battle and Brew, I mean, you can speak to this, Pig. There's a lot of character diversity there. I mean, there's a lot of different characters you have to fight, and a lot of different play styles with different characters.
Yeah, I'll say this though. How do I say this? I'll say this though. Atlanta needs to step up. I'll just come out and say it. Atlanta needs to step up. I think there's 2 to 3 players right now that are ready for majors. And I think that there are definitely 3 or 4 more players that are definitely making huge strides. They're making huge strides to getting ready for majors.
Yeah.
I mean, and those 3 to 4 have people think I'm kind of joking. Well, I am kind of joking, but like when I say things about like, especially in the private Atlanta forum, I always talk about hunger. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Like in like status updates for a week, all I did was talk about diets and hunger and shit like that. And like people thought I was joking. Well, I kind of am, but I'm also very serious. Like I don't like if you want to succeed and you want to be successful. I don't care if it's in video games or life and education or whatever. You got to be hungry because you know what? When you're not practicing, that guy down the street is. And I think that you know to do this and to perform well, I mean you've just got to have a lot more motivation than those. And I sense that from Smarrgasm. I sense that from myself. I mean I got it.
I mean, I was really hoping that he was gonna make it out of pool at TFC because he
could have he choked but he choked. He would tell you that too. That's why I think I can say that.
I mean, the game is still so new. I mean.
But I'm not talking about new. I'm talking about, do you have that hunger? I know me, Solidface unquestionably does. Solidface might be as hungry as I am. I know Smar is. I know Smar is a little down a little bit because of the TFC thing, but Smar is going to be okay. But everyone else, I mean, I don't think you guys understand what I'm talking about. Like. No Call of Duty, guys. Know this. Don't play this. There's no other video games.
Are you serious? I am super hungry.
I'm saying do nothing but get your ass ready. You know, I mean, I'm not going to name any players or names, but you know, people want me to help them with matchups and stuff. I'm sorry, but if I see you playing 4 other different games on PS3 and Xbox, I'm not going to help you because you're obviously not really trying to get better. Because when you're playing fucking Call of Duty Ghosts or whatever, and we're doing this over here, you need to be doing what we're doing because, I mean, this is real. This is competition, and you got to take it seriously.
And I agree with that. I agree with everything you just said.
And it's not just about my scene, but I will speak for my scene and say my scene needs to level up. When I'm not at those AKAs and I see Deathstroke doing jump 3, jump 3, jump 3, jump 3, and Lex Luthor jump 3, jump 3, dude, fucking do something about it. Like, have you not seen that before? Like, and that's why, like, I've been saying violently lately that you guys need to start playing online a little better.
Are you calling out AK Herald?
No, I'm calling out people.
Well, you should be calling him out because he lost to a Deathstroke doing jumping, jump 3. If he did that to Master D, he would kill him.
I'm calling out players losing the week 1 shit.
That's a week 1 shit.
You made a thread on Test Your Might. Speaking of playing online. You made a thread,
Let's talk about
which I read a couple days ago,
And by the way, I do agree with what you were saying about, stop playing 10 other games on PSN or whatever. If you're serious, if you're hungry, I know I, for one, have trained only in Injustice. I've only been playing KI for work reasons, but only Injustice, because if you want to keep yourself in tournament form or get him in tournament form to stay at the level of the best players in the world, you can't spread yourself thin and expect to pick it up and perform. But it's getting on the Pig's thread. Pig, you made a thread on Test Your Might, basically saying, you know what, this is an MK9. This game has got an infinitely better netcode, and you know what? Instead of having to go to a weekly, once a week, and only getting a few games in reality, you can play anyone almost around the world based on what system and your connection and get all the experience necessary. And unlike MK9, all the top players, all the best versions of every character are playing on the net. So I didn't read the feedback on that, but talk a little bit about some of the points you made in that thread.
My idea is kind of what I can relate to my last thing that I said about the AKAs. I feel that if you don't play online, you're fucking yourself. Because if you go to tournaments, I'm sorry, you're not going to have level 1 Zod. If you haven't played Dave or me, I'm sorry, you do not know Zod. You can play this guy that Arma mentioned, or you can play this guy over here, you can play that guy. I played them all. I played every Zod I've heard about. I played that dude, Death Maze, Runway muffs him up, Chaotic beat him 10-2. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're not online, you're not playing me or Dave, you're not playing Zod, period. And there are other Zods. I wish there was Sim. I wish he was in America, because he's probably the best Zod out of all of us. but he can't play any of us because he lives in fucking Norway. But what I'm saying is, I'll take Saltface, for example. Saltface has probably been to maybe 1 Battle and Brew and 2 AKAs. I think everyone he went to, he either got second place or won it. And the only time he lost was to, I think it was to Black Adam. I can't remember, which is a bad matchup, or pre-patch. It probably was a bad matchup. But Saltface plays online more than any human being I know. He plays constantly. He is constantly out there, and he'll play you 1,000 games. He's never the first one to quit. You have to quit Saltface. Saltface doesn't quit you.
Dude, I've been playing him for the past 3 days.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do. Why? Because the dude's hungry. He plays online, and then he actually made a statement in a private Atlanta thread. We have an Atlanta PM going on where we keep in contact about happenings in Atlanta and AKs and stuff like that. He said, I'm just going to say it. He said, I hate to be an asshole, but I get nothing coming to you guys, because when I come there, I body all you. I'm just going to stay at my place and keep leveling up online for the majors, and if somebody can pick me up, because he actually lives like an hour away, so he doesn't have a car, so we have to pick him up and take him there and whatnot. So, I mean, he wants to come. Don't get me wrong, he wants to come, but he's not going to go out of his way to come, because he looks at it as, I'm constantly leveling up. I feel like I'm light years ahead of 99% of the people there, so I'm not going to go. And I kind of agree with him, honestly. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, his play speaks for everything he said, because he's the only Atlanta member that's got a top 8. Does he have 1 top 8 or 2 top 8s?
Two. CEO and TFC.
Jesus Christ, man. So he is top 8 pre-patch, post-patch. He's top 8 in every facet of the game. He's never gone to a major yet and wet the bed. He is a proven Injustice player, and he needs to be talked amongst the top 10 currently right now. He needs to be talked amongst those. He plays Harley. It's not like he's going out there with, no offense to you guys, Superman, Black Adam, or any of those guys. And no offense to you guys. You guys are great.
No, I know. It's understandable.
But, going out there with Harley and doing work like he's doing in these bad matchups, he just says it, like, I'm not going to go out of my way to come up there. And, he levels up online. So I've been talking to Saltface a little bit, and like, and I talked to Dave about a month or 2 ago, and this all kind of happened around the same time. And Dave's like, you need to stop playing people you just mop up left and right. And I was like, all right. So I started playing nobody but people. I started playing only people that could beat me. I don't really play any more people that I can beat, because I want to get mopped up. I want to get better, and I just want to do what Saltface has been doing. I know. I want to play. I want to play you. I'll play you.
No, I'm kidding, bro. But
speaking of Saltface, I mean, and I got to play him before CEO, and we played like 40 games, and even though I was slightly up, his Harley gave me a lot of problems, and we kept playing, and increasingly Harley just started to get, Jesus Christ, man, it's a bad match. But we would have never known that had we not played it over and over again, and because of me grinding out with Saltface, God knows how many matches,
I murder every possible Harley Quinn. And then when he plays with the Aquamans, he murders them. And it's just, from playing online over now, I could have gone to God knows how many locals. It's, I could, no offense to GGA or any local scene, I could have gone to Wednesday night fights and not know how to fight Harley. I could have gone to GGA and still not know how to fight Harley. I could have gone to the break and next level, or even Atlanta Combat. And if Soulface wasn't there that day, I have no fucking clue how to fight Harley. Yet, I could have just signed on, so I could have traveled around the country, go to every single local scene, and then go to a major and get mopped up by Harley, when all I would have had to do was sign on PSN and play this guy.
He'll play you.
To be honest with you, most of my experience comes from online, too. I mean, I used to play a lot with Maxter and Robin in the game. At that time, people assumed that I used to play with Junior a lot, but we never really did. And most of my time was devoted with Maxter and Robin, and I thank them a lot because they had the patience and time to learn the game with me, and unfortunately they don't travel out as much as I would like them to because they're really great players. Maxter plays like 4 characters. City Prime plays Martian too, which I think is probably as good as Reo now. But Maxter has a crazy Lobo too. I know I shouldn't be saying any of this stuff, and people will actually get to see how good Lobo is at NEC. But as for the New York scene, Tom, not to switch this off again, but the New York scene is I wouldn't say that I'll blame you guys for it, but since it is an NRS game, I would have expected more support and more players from Revolver, the Dominican brother, even though Junior did win here and there, whatever. You, Reo, all these, all the people that were going to VSM to come and support next level of the break, whatever, and then we probably will have all these different variety of characters.
Well, hold on a minute though, because I've been at, I wasn't at Prima the whole time. I've been at Microsoft a lot. So
yeah, I'm talking about
traveling
back
a lot,
now.
so I couldn't have. I mean, even then, I went to a next level. Though I went to the first next level for Injustice. I was there. I showed my support. And I wasn't in town. And, I say every day, to Junior and the rest of those guys, hey, go to the next level, go to the next level, go to the next level. I can't go every week. And they, if I was in that area the whole time, I would go to the next level every week. I would go to the break every week if I was in that area the whole time. But I'm not. So I when I'm free and I'm in that area again, when I'm back home, I'll be able to go constantly.
Well, hopefully when you come back from your KI stuff, you can actually come to the break, and you could be one of the, obviously, whatever, man, you know what I mean.
Well, I think CD Junior, I mean, he hurt the scene a lot when he was ranting on Twitter every day about the game. I mean, that was he has a lot of followers on Twitter, and when you're there just constantly trashing the game, you make the game seem like worthless, and then people don't want to play. I mean, that's what he did.
I agree. I 100% agree.
And
he's supposed to be a representative, and if he didn't like the game, he should just shut his mouth.
And exactly. He's one of the testers. So, and he's one of the people. If you say something, you respect his opinion.
Yeah.
And he was one of the best players. He was a top 3 MK player. And for him to go out on Twitter every day back then, and say, this game is all about zoning. This game sucks. Ares fed no hitbox, and some of the complaints were just idiotic. That hurt the game a lot. I mean, that's.
I think what really hurts is you got a lot of people who are kind of on the fence of Injustice. They like the game, they got into it, but they're having some trouble understanding it, and they're on the fence of should they quit it or not. And when you hear a big name and someone who's a respected player going about how bad the game is, the first thing you start thinking of, you know what? I'm not really bad. I don't have to level up. The game is just so bad. That's why I'm losing. I'll just go to something else. It gives a lot of people more encouragement to quit as opposed to say, no, you know what? Here's what I'm doing wrong. I need to level up and whatever. I feel like it gives a lot of people an easy out because they say, hey, look, even this guy is saying it's bad. Fuck this. So I feel like it's especially the Capcom community, which, no offense to Capcom players look for any excuse to say why a game that they're currently not having success in is bad and not as good as Street Fighter. So, not all of them, but there are some that do that. So, when you have a guy who's a figurehead in the community for that game going forward and saying, you guys were right, this game is ass, nobody should play it, they say,
Then why should I play it then? Even their own community says it's bad. Then they generalize. Then one player who's a big voice becomes the whole community says
Well,
it's bad.
I agree with you, Tom, because at that time, a while back, like Sanford was actually interested, so was Dominion, Yipes. A lot of the Capcom players were actually interested, and I'm pretty sure with Junior's rants and saying how horrible the game is and stuff, I'm pretty sure whatever any little sort of interest they had, it went away. And me as a Capcom player also, like you don't hear me comparing the game like, oh, this game is horrible, it has no real footsies like Street Fighter. Why am I playing this? Blah blah blah. There's no real fundamental. This is a crappy game. I do enjoy the game. I think maybe the walk speed does disencourage players from playing it because they think that it's probably too slow. But honestly, I don't. It doesn't really bother me much. The game has its own unique sort of footsies, its own fundamentals. It's not a bad game, really. It's not.
No, I agree. And I feel like when you're a big voice and you go on Twitter and you start going off on the game, that you become an advertisement for all the reasons why you shouldn't put any time into it.
Exactly.
And I feel like that really hurt.
Let me ask you this question. Everybody, I think this is important. Youmacon had about 40 to 45 people. Despite what Perfect Legend says, he's salty, he lost, but the game had 40 to 45 people. Do you think next year, if MLG does not pick up Injustice, that the game is going to die? Go ahead, Tom.
No, I don't think so.
Do you think they're going to pick it up? What do you think?
It's tough for me to say for sure, and even if I did know, I couldn't say.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, I'll say this: I don't see why it would. I mean, we're a community who, I feel like we're making the same thing. Remember MK9? Everybody was saying it's going to die. It's going to die. We've said this before on this show. But think of the first 6-7 months in MK9. The community did nothing but talk about how bad it was, how it's going to die, how we can't wait for it to. I mean, they say, what do they say about Injustice? It's got no footsies, right? Isn't that what they say? Didn't they say the same thing about MK9? It's got no footsies. People say you can just jump all day in Injustice, no anti-air. Didn't everybody say the exact same things about MK9? I feel like our community is doing the exact same things. I feel like MK9's growth was hurt by all those naysayers, and it wasn't until the end of the game when they finally saw the end of the game's life, and they were like, fuck, man, we could have had a bigger community, we wanted more time with the game, and it's like they didn't realize what they were doing till it was finally gone, and they didn't have it there anymore. And in comes Injustice, and I don't think it's going to die, but I feel like it's unfairly not going. I feel like our game started off really big, and then our community intentionally tries to make sure it doesn't grow simply because they want everybody else to be as grumpy as they are. I mean, but I think it's got a lot of depth, and I think this game can actually go the long haul. I feel like this is not one of those games that only has a 2 or 3 year shelf life. You look at games like Street Fighter, other fighting games, Tekken, whatever, that have a longer, lifespan than that. And I feel like Injustice is one of those games that could actually last, 3-4 years. And because it's its own game, I feel like even when MK10 does come out, its lifespan can actually extend into MK10 because it is that good of a game. I think it's a very deep game, and it's not a game with contrary to belief that's so shallow you can figure it out in a couple of months and then the whole game's farmed out and not fun anymore. So that's my opinion on it.
Pig, what do you think?
I think if MLG picks it up, it definitely will succeed a lot more than if it doesn't. I think MLG won't pick it up. I hope it does. I have no inside information. But I just think currently right now, esports as a whole is at a all-time low from what I'm gathering. Even community tournaments are at an all-time low.
Yes.
I would say all of locals are at an all-time low. And it's not just our scene, not just our game. It worries me that all locals, all majors, all this and that are at an all-time low for every game.
Mm-hmm. Just a question: was it like that for MK9 too? Like the
Well, MK9 when it first came out would have quadruple the amount of streamers watching. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking there used to be like 20,000 people, like 10,000, 20, 30,000 people for like the VSM streams, and these streams and this streams. And Tom, what's that number that you were trying to reach? And you would shave heads, or 10,000?
1,000. Well, one time VSM
one time I went there and it pulled 1,000 views.
Yeah,
and then
just
as
a
the
local
game,
gathering.
And then
Go
as the
ahead.
game began to get further down, but one time it actually reached 1,000. Think about that. Think about where VSM would be right now, or anyone, like not a Team Spooky based stream, because you're going to get numbers that are not just there for Injustice. But just
Yeah.
an MK, just an MK community stream, like a GGA, and think about 1,000 views, or a VSM Today or Atlanta Combat. Just if they only ran Injustice. Think about 1,000 views, and that's where the community was at this point in MK9. And then at this point in Injustice, it feels like we only have like 1/10 or 20% of that.
Yeah, I was watching the GGA stream and watching the AKA stream, and I was thinking, I think GGA had like 150 for their Halloween, 170, and AKA last Friday had like 120. And I was just kind of looking at my car, like looking at the viewers. I was like, yeah, I remember MK9 for a local like weekly like this would pull in 1,000, and I was like, that bothers me. And I hope MLG picks it up. But I'm being honest when I say all this. But to answer Rico's question, I feel like the majors had definitely more people for Mortal Kombat. I would say, like Devastation. Tom, you were there. How many people did Devastation have? Because that's what would be right now.
130.
Okay, Rico, I can answer your question much better post NEC. Like I personally expect, like, all right, NEC 2011. I was there. Tom was there. It had like 128, 130 people. Yeah. To be fair, I honestly think that Injustice, this is the first major post patch. Youmacon, you can count Youmacon too, but this is like the first huge gathering of all talents from all coasts. I think it's gonna. I'm estimating 170 people to 200 people.
Yeah, I think over 200.
I hope it's over 200.
The fact that Youmacon was like so many little people, it's still considered a major, right?
I would consider it.
I remember that I had a certain argument. I'm pretty sure people would know who I'm talking about. I had an argument, and somebody had thrown in my face like, "Oh, you didn't win a major in Injustice, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Really? What major did you win?" They were like, "Oh, I won VXG." I'm like, really?
"There's your answer."
I'm like, "Really? You're gonna consider VXG?" I only have like
I would consider Youmacon at least a regional tournament. I would consider it.
It's definitely a regional, but I don't,
I
give King.
I'm just saying because of the person being like a hypocrite. How are you gonna say that Youmacon didn't matter, but then you won like a 32-man bracket, whatever major VXG, and say that that one actually mattered? And
I don't know what's up with Perfect Legend. I think he's just salty.
I mean, we all get our salty moments, man.
I think he was just salty that Playing to Win made that thread, and he pumped up King and not him. I mean, King is Ohio's best player. I mean, it is what it is. What's there to be salty about?
I do have a question now for Pig of the Hut. Pig of the Hut. In a video, I was talking about MK9, and I referred to you as at one time the Darth Vader of Mortal Kombat 9. Dude, how do you feel? I feel like Pig at one time. Even though we had all these cabals in Rio, whatever, people were like, yeah, cabal. When people talking about Pig of the Hut, for some reason, they just had this look like you did when you were a kid watching Star Wars and you saw Darth Vader for the first time, like this look of hopelessness. Like you're like, fuck, man, Pig, Kenshi's going to be there. I mean, it's like, how do you feel about that? The Darth Vader of MK9, about that label.
2011, 2012 were great years.
I mean, literally, like the Darth Vader. I mean, like,
no.
Think of.
Yeah. People would come up to me before matches and just be like, "God damn it!" They usually just say, "Like, I got to put up with that shit." And it was cool. Like, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, like, I'm really happy with all the success I had in K9, but it doesn't make me happy today. I want to have success in Injustice. I'm nobody in Injustice.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this question because I was gonna ask this as like kind of to close out the show.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your, obviously you're going to NEC. Give me your expectations for NEC.
For me?
Yes, for you.
If I don't make top 8, I'm extremely disappointed.
So you're saying top?
I'll say it again. At TFC, I ran into the only thing that could have stopped me. And I know 4 people in top 8 that I would have beat the shit out of. And I ran into the one thing that I couldn't stop. And I ran into it twice, back to back. And it was the only 2 people with the one thing that could have stopped me. So, CO, no, I just sucked. UFGT, no, I just sucked. I mean, CO, I got 9th, but at the same time, whatever. It's whatever.
So you're saying
Evo, I mopped up junior, but it doesn't matter. But that, I don't know, actually, that was kind of fun. Evo was kind of a success because I beat junior, so whatever.
So you're saying top 8 at least?
Yeah, if I get top 8, I'm gonna be extremely disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. And someone asked me after if I don't get top 8, someone asked me after, hey, are you upset? I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm underperformed. You know, I'm basically the Buffalo Bills of 1995. Like I keep getting 9th place. Like I've gotten
First of all,
I've gotten 13.
That's a great accomplishment. 4 Super Bowls in a row, my good sir.
No. Well, I'm sorry. That's a bad accomplishment. I'm sorry. Not a bad accomplishment. That's a bad reference because I haven't even sniffed the Super Bowl yet, and injustice. So I would say I've sniffed the playoffs. I've sniffed the playoffs twice with 2 9th place finishes and a 13th and 17th. 13th and 17th are absolute atrocious jokes, but the 2 9th place finishes. I would say it's like me going 10-6 and missing the playoffs by half a game.
Yeah.
Rico, I mean, for you, I would assume at least top 3. I mean, if you don't make top 3, just based on what you've done in the past, I would be shocked. I think you would be disappointed, right?
Yeah. I mean, I never really had that mentality where I said like, oh, I'm gonna have to win, or I'm gonna win this tournament, or I'm gonna make like a message saying like, oh, I already won this tournament, whatever. People just don't know it yet.
It's not about making like threats or anything. Just like based on what you've done in the past, I would imagine that you're the type of caliber player you would expect at least top 3.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't. I don't think I should. I don't see myself being below top 3.
Ask me where I expect to place in the Killer Instinct tournament. No, I'm joking. No.
Well, Tom, that depends.
The joke.
No, can I continue the joke, Tom? I just want to, please.
Please continue.
Maybe the first month or 2, you'll win.
Oh my God. Tom, what about you?
My prediction is that my expectation is I want to win, and I expect to win. And if I do win, I expect the tournament to be called a hoax. Or a local. No,
Tom, if you win, I'm gonna get. You're gonna pop off. You're gonna get nuts. You're gonna throw something at me. Blah blah blah. But I'm gonna still give you a big hug.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I actually am insulted. But in MK9, first of all, let me apologize for my ranting earlier. But when you have to fight Sadira 100 games, even if you're going even with her, you want to fucking throw something through a window. Please fix Sadira in the next build, please God. Anyway. There's nothing more.
I just picked up Sadira.
I can't fucking tell you how I could just sitting here going, Jesus fucking Christ, how many times are you gonna jump and whiff and I can't do anything about it? There's nothing more irritating. Anyway, now that I'm a little, you should hear me in this fucking office. I mean, it's terrible. They got to fucking. I've never been this salty in my life, but in reality, like now that I'm more calm, let me apologize for my rant earlier. But let me just say that I don't like this. I'm okay with what I did in MK9. I'm pleased with what I did. I think I don't like when people make the Rico Suave joke that he just made. I know Rico was joking, but a lot of people that say things to me like, Tom, just like MK9, brother, just like MK9. I'm sitting here going, there are 95% of the community would kill to have the resume I had in MK9. And to be looked at in MK9 like saying, like I was a failure, I take that as an insult. Because I did very, very well. There are a lot of players who couldn't even reach the top 8 half as much as I did.
But let me just stop you there for a second. See, this is exactly what I mean, though, by caring what the community says. Look, Tom, give me a second.
It's a joke. Oh my gosh,
it's not even about that, but this is exactly what I mean. See, a lot of people will never work for Microsoft, will never work on killer instinct or any of that nonsense
I'm
that you
asking
get
what-
to do for money.
All I'm saying is I don't like, and I don't. I'm saying I personally. It's like going to Jim Kelly and say, "Guess what, brother? You went to 4 state Super Bowls. You suck, bitch." And like 95% of the league have never even been to one.
That's
You
what I
know,
mean, though.
it's
That's
like
what I mean,
it's-
though. Those people will get laughed at. I'm saying people will criticize you for whatever
I'm
the
saying
reason may be.
Get laughed at. The difference is other professional athletes would never go to Jim Kelly and say that. And if they did, he would take offense to it. If the running joke amongst other elite professional athletes where Jim Kelly, keep him out of the Hall of Fame. You suck, bitch. You going to 4 Super Bowls, but you lost. You
But
know,
dude,
I mean,
look, just to give you an example, 16-bit rants on 16-bit goes on his podcast and rants how I suck every week.
I know,
Yet
but listen,
I beat him at Evolution. So who's the one?
no, but
Why is
hey,
he
look,
talking?
why can't the thing is when I say something, it's automatically assumed that I'm taking offense to it. So they say, Tom, why do you care? People say, I can't say. If I go to Dunkin' Donuts and I would say, whoa, you putting cream cheese on my bagel? The community would say, or you, Dave, would say, Tom, well, why do you care if they put cream cheese on your bagel? I'm like, no, I'm not offended by it. For me, I'm just stating the obvious here. I'm just stating that I don't understand why. I'm okay with it. I did the very best I could. Matter of fact, if I had not given in to it at that point and gone to other characters trying to, get first, I probably would have had a lot more top 8s on my resume. Be that as it may, looking back on it, I'm okay with it. I did the best I could, and I did pretty damn well. Was I the best? No, but I was one of the best in the world. And for people to, look at that as a negative, for anyone to look at anything I did in MK9 as a negative, simply because I won the first tournament and never won again, I don't see how that's possible when I did so well in the game. And especially, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And even for Injustice, look, the game is still pretty new to me. And I had a lot of problems against Superman and Black Adam. But unfortunately, a lot of people had a lot of...
Well, yeah, everybody did, yeah.
People don't realize the era in which I played the game. All you fucks that think Black Adam was too strong now, I had to fight that character when he could do dive kick, backdash, dive kick, backdash. Get the fuck out of here, I lost
Rico,
a
you won't
tournament.
take that? I'm just kidding.
I lost a tournament. One time. I got 9th place in the tournament because Superman had like a 1% life lead on me, but he had a super. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do a trident. I couldn't do a down 1. I couldn't do a back 1-2. Any move in my entire move list that I did, I was going to eat a super. That is the kind of shit that I had to deal with. And I don't think, for people to Injustice look at me and say, Tom, why weren't you winning? Some of that shit was really fucked up, I don't know. It was just really, really fucked up. And it was really, really hard to deal with. It wasn't like the bane of my existence was basically Black Adam and Superman. So,
but Tom, when I met you, or in your earlier Injustice career days, you said to me, Black Adam player.
What? Wait, what'd you say?
Say, Rico, repeat.
Tom has said that he mops up every Black Adam.
Well, first of all, you have to say something with me. I don't like to ever give in to the fact that something could be. I'm not a big naysayer. In other words, when someone says, dude, someone's like, dude, that's a hard match, man. I'll sit there to the life of me and say, no, it's not. First of all, I was someone that constantly defended Sub-Zero against Cabal as if it was a winning matchup or possibly
True.
even.
He did.
Which is, I am,
absurd.
so of course. My point is though, I look at it, and look, I'll be honest with you. At that point in the game, I was able to get away with murder as an Aquaman player. I could back to the shit out of people, and they would all duck it, eat it like fucking candy. I was able to get away with murder. People weren't punishing anything I was doing. They weren't abusing half of the holes in what I was doing. It was very easy for a long, long time, But I feel like, in Injustice, there's almost no way I don't win at least one more major. Almost absolutely no way. I feel like the game is way more balanced than it ever was.
There's almost no way that I don't win one more major, and I expect to get top 8 at almost every major out there. Hopefully top 3.
You know what would have been balanced if they took off your 9 feet trident hitbox. If they took away mine, they could at least take away yours. Yours is 9 feet, only meter burns on hit, 20%, and then you get a guaranteed.
You know,
wait, hold on, Tom. Hold on, Tom. Let me finish. And then you get a guaranteed 2% trident because obviously when they're waking up, they have to block the trident because if they try to jump or do anything, it's gonna meter burn again. And it's a never-ending cycle. But yet, the 26-frame lightning bolt gets the really bad.
Let me say this. You know how you made that example about how people weren't really capitalizing on Black Adam, all his holes. You
have a trait.
Hold on. But you were saying that because you knew all of Black Adam's holes when you played the Black Adam mirror, you had such good success because you knew where to expose all those holes that other people weren't. Your argument.
Oh, even when I use my Aquaman, yeah.
Have you ever fucking seen me play that Aquaman mirror and see what happens? It don't look pretty. I can't remember the last time an Aquaman took.
What I'm trying to say is, either way, you should have not lost to pocket Black Adam players. If you was fighting me for long ass sets.
What I'm saying is, it was harder than you. The bottom line is this, man. The bottom line is that Aquaman, I hear it constantly. I hear a lot of talk about Aquaman is so good. He's so good. He's so good. He's so safe. Trait.
No, I think
in my opinion, look, I can't tell you how many Aquaman players I play. Even the most experienced ones. And I play them in the mirror, and I block something unsafe like a trident at close range or like a scoop. And the first thing they do is trade up. Scoop and they trade. What do you think I do? I punish with trident. Back 1-2, I take 40% from them, but they've already traded. Why would you trade? Why, as an Aquaman player, would you trade there? Because even if you give up back 1-2 trident, you're giving up 40. Or you can trade and give up 39 guaranteed. Only now you've wasted your trade, and now you have to get up and you don't have it anymore. I mean, there's so many holes, so many things that I take advantage of that Aquaman players he's not as safe as you think. There are a lot of holes in it that people don't take advantage of.
Who are you, Wonder Chef now? I'm just kidding.
Dave, what I mean is when you tell me things other Aquaman players say, they do to you, don't I always say to you, how do they get that close to you? They never get anywhere near me. Haven't I said that so many times?
Yeah.
And I find it hard to believe that me, an Aquaman player, in the mirror, I don't have half of Zod's runaway or his mobility, like a way to, cross the screen or get the other side of you. And they can't get near me. So I don't see how they get near Zod. Then again, I have, 6-7 months of experience playing Aquaman, knowing all his holes, and fighting against every other Aquaman out there. So that's why I say, you know what? Maybe people don't have enough experience against all his holes right now. So that's why he seems to be better. I mean, some people still allow me to get away with murder. I can't tell you how many times. Do you realize that half of the Green Lantern players out there still block something unsafe and don't always lift me? They do back 1-3 and give me a trait. I can't tell you. I mean, not so. Even at that level, sometimes I still get away with murder sometimes. So the fact that I get away with murder.
Rico.
Yes, sir.
Is Aquaman overrated?
I believe so.
Why?
If Aquaman is always guaranteed top 3 on the tier list, then how come we don't see so many Aquaman plays top 8 or win locals?
Superman and Black Adam previously.
Maybe.
Yeah, shut the hell up, Tom.
Previously, Superman and Black Adam.
Wait, hold on. Even at pre-patch, Black Adam could still. Not Black Adam. Aquaman could fight either one. If he gets frozen by Superman, Superman has to try to open him up again. You don't get a guaranteed 80% of the corner.
Oh, do you? Look, man, I don't want to harp too much on this.
No. What, Tom? What is it? What? You don't know how to block?
Forward 2-3. Forward 2-3.
Yes, but he has to freeze you, right? To get 80% or 70%, whatever.
Forward
and obviously you do trade.
Forward 2-3, breath. is one of the dumbest things I've ever fought against in the history of fighting games. And I've played some dumb fucking games, you know. It is literally, from the start of the round, you put in a fucking stupid mix-up. And unlike Black Adam that has the option to backdash, even though you could get blown up for that, it's a guessing game.
No, I can't do anything.
See, it's just so, dude, Aquaman, it's bad, man. That was really fucking hard. That was really fucking hard.
Forward 2 at the start of the match, and then if he does forward 2 trade, which he's actually at positive, and then he tries to grab you, you break his throat, he gains a meter, and then he's at positive again on frames that he could do another 4-2-3.
I'm just telling you, Superman was really hard. And you know what? You know why maybe I get a little too salty about Aquaman thing? It's not because of Theo or anyone else. It's because I have people, literally, who don't... Rico Suave, you play Aquaman. But I have people, including you, Rico, who don't know half of what I know about this fucking character.
I don't. Dave, don't not admit it, Dave, that I told you I don't really practice my Aquaman. I just put on my tournaments.
But yet you have the nerve, these guys have the nerve to tell me that Superman isn't that bad. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know? I'm the Aquaman player. Yet you're telling me my matchups. I mean, it's dumb.
I don't know. I feel more comfortable doing Trident than my Lightning Ball against Superman.
Dude, my man.
My man.
You can't lie, dude. You know that 9 feet Trident off the ground feels pretty good when you hit them.
Unless Deg is punching you in the face with fucking gunshots to see you. Huh?
I didn't know how to play Aquaman properly back then.
Might want to work on that Harley matchup, brother, with Aquaman.
Whatever. I didn't know how to play Aquaman like that.
All right, so I don't want to fucking hear that shit. I mean, and something that I do want to be serious about instead of being all salty and angry because Sadira was born, and I hope they fucking nerf this bitch tomorrow when I get the new bill. But I mean, like, now what? Someone's going to hear that and go, damn, Tom, salty about Sadira. Every fucking tournament I go to, everyone's going to pick Sadira on me. But the whole thing that actually got me really disappointed here, and I want to touch on this because I know Pig had mentioned, you guys mentioned it in the last Kryptonite Council, and Pig was highlighting some of it in his thread about online players. For me, to answer your question honestly, Dave, without being negative and snapping a pig in the hut or whatever, to answer your question honestly, what upset me about this is that I watch Atlanta Combat every time they're on, but I'm on East Coast. Like if I wanted to play Trey Pound or Pig or anyone else, I'm at home. I can sign on any time I play these games, get infinite games. You know, these guys out here, especially the guys that are not on Xbox Live, they may never get Xbox Live. This is like my one time to ever play some of these guys, and I see these guys every weekend in Wednesday night fights. You know, Sonic Boom Brad, whoever that Nightwing player is. I see Theo. I see Slayer. All these guys that do so well at Wednesday night fights that I'll never get a chance to play again. That I'll never get a chance to play here. And there's a character like Superman. He said, you know what? Superman is one of those characters that I probably maybe only have 100 total games lifetime again. Think about that. I have, in one night, I playing to win as many games in one night as I probably have had against Superman my entire life of this game. So here's a match where I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, okay, I got Theo here. I don't know how to play this match at the highest possible level yet because I don't fight it every other day. It's not a match I'm super familiar with.
Just want to choke Tom.
You know, I'm like, here's a guy that I really want to get some games in with, play the game at the highest possible level. And I was disappointed that it was more like, look, man, you only get this many games and go. But yet he'll play everyone else in their mom infinite games. And I'm like, I want to play this match at the highest possible level. I'm on your side of the country. And you're literally telling me, go play some scrubby Superman players because I'm done playing you. And it's like, if everybody did that to everybody, it would be, imagine if I did it to Playing to Win. Imagine if Playing to Win, who's been asking Dave to play me for a long time, if instead of giving him 100 games, I said, you know what, you Sinestro player, go fuck yourself. Play somebody else. He might have lost to Black Mamba. The entire tournament would have looked differently. Instead of, Playing to Win against, Forever King in the grand finals. And it's like, Zod, imagine if Dave would have said, "Go fuck yourself, Tom. I don't want to play you anymore. We're done having games. We would have never grinded the matchup like we did. We never would have, and it was disappointing because here's a guy that I really respect and I was really looking forward to having games with him. For me, it's more than about I don't use online for competing. I enjoy playing the game at the highest possible level. I don't care if I'm playing Dave a million games, playing to win a million games, Rico Suave, Reo, Foxy Grandpa, even me and Foxy, we're still going through the Wonder Woman matchup. Even a year from now, when we know the Wonder Woman Aquaman matchup in and out, I'll still play him a million games simply because it's fun to play the game at the highest level. I use Tekken as the example all the time. You got two of the best players in the world, Nee and JDCR. And I was talking to Rip. I said, "Hey, man, these guys have been playing Tekken for a year." I said, "When you went to Korea and you went to the arcade and Nee and JDCR were going to play some games, how many games did they play?" Rip was like, "Man, they would play for like 4 or 5 hours." And I don't understand why in this community we have some players who will give other people infinite amount of games, and then others they won't play at all. I mean, Pig, you even said you were disappointed when you played max intensity 17 games and you felt like, you were done playing them for eternity. You were hungry for more games. Yeah. You were insulted because you lost, but you're like, okay, you have 10-7.
Well, let me just jump in.
There's a difference.
Let me just say this, though. Max Intensity does play more games when he loses. That's all I'm going to say. He does play more games. When he gets his ass whipped, apparently he does. So
no, because since I've beaten him 10-7, 10-8, he always says no. Whether I win or lose a set, he's always gone to no.
I think he started playing more games ever since the Kryptonite podcast. We called it out on it. That's what I've heard. Yeah. But I think the reason why Theo won't play you and why Max will is because the difference between me and Max, the reference you made, is Theo sees you as a rivalry, and he wants to play you a little bit online. He wants to try to download you a little bit. You download him a little bit and see what happens, and then take it to NEC. That's the truth.
But I'm saying, I'm like, hey, let's get some more games here, man. I want to put. If he has a rivalry, then he could have easily pulled out his Aquaman, let me mop that shit up before I eat dinner, then go to his Superman. I'll tell you right now. This community, I am so good in the mirror. This community has what's called the Tom Brady rule, where mirrors used to mean a lot in this community until Tom Brady.
No offense, that's pretty stupid. But
hold on, Dave, you even know this. Even back in the old days, mirrors used to mean a lot in this community. Yes or no? One time did. But what happened is nobody could beat me in the mirror. So everybody was like, the mirror doesn't count. The mirror doesn't count. And then one time I lost the mirror, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, dethroned, son!" And then I never lost it again. And then they were like, "Oh, the mirror doesn't count." Even now, when people were talking about Theo or any Aquaman player, they always say, "Oh, it doesn't count if Tom wins." And we all know the mirror doesn't mean anything. But God help me if I lost. God help me if I lose that fucking mirror. You'll have to bury me under the tournament. So. I mean,
because you're the definitive Aquaman player.
I mean, but it's so dumb. If I win the mirror, the mirror doesn't really prove who the better Aquaman
but Tom,
is. If I lose the mirror,
Tom, did you hear what Pig said? Tom, did you hear what just Pig said?
Yes.
You are the best player. So let's say Pig beats Deathspace. Who gives a shit? Pig is, top, probably the best, Zod right now, or at least, tied with me, whatever.
No, me and Dave, we share the crown.
That's whatever it is. That's not the point. The point is this. But if Deathspace beats Pig, he's gonna get blown up.
I understand that.
It's very true. It's very true what Dave just said.
I don't see Theo as a rival. I mean, the guy even admits, "Hey, I don't play Aquaman for every matchup." I mean, when I were to play, like, I don't look at Michelangelo as a rival. I look at Michelangelo. He's a really good player. He uses Aquaman when he needs him for here, and he uses Green Lantern for over here. I don't look at Round Cowboy as a rival. Let's be serious. Round Cowboy ain't picking Aquaman against Green Lantern. You can put your fucking life on that thing. Yeah, I mean, and then we also, even though he's a great player, why would he intentionally say, "I already have a character that fights the match better. Let me go." Rico Suave plays Aquaman. I don't see Rico as, I don't like, "Oh, fucking Rico Suave, that son of a bitch," that right. I don't see him as a rival.
And I don't see any Aquaman player as a rival. I see Theo, he's just another good player who's picking up Aquaman, wants to experiment around with him. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with it. Somewhere with nothing to do with me, this invisible rivalry came out where, oh shit, who's the better Aquaman? Theo
Yes,
or Brave?
Tom. But you getting your panties wet over that. That's what
No,
causes.
I really don't care.
But hold on. That's what causes you like.
No, what I was upset about was, let me get this straight. So because of some imaginary rivalry that I don't even see as a rivalry, this one-sided rivalry that your host has fabricated out of thin air, I can't come over here and get any games with you? Let me get this straight. I'm going to come over to your side of the country and say, man, I'm so excited to play you guys. Theo, man, let's play 100 games. Let's play all these games like you play everybody else. No, Tom, you're my rival. We're only playing 15 games tonight. Go fuck yourself. I'll see you next year. What?
No, that is a good point, and I hope on the next show we can.
So let me get this straight. So if I want to start maining Wonder Woman and Foxy doesn't have mirror experience, I should only give him 10 games and say, go fuck yourself, Foxy. We're rivals now. We can't play anymore. What?
No, that's a good point. No, you bring up a great point. I'm hoping that Pig can talk to Theo, and next week we can have Theo on the show and we can resolve this. I think
I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Myself and Rico Suave are friends, but we're also rivals. We make
Tom,
all the time.
Tom, remember when I used to question you? I said like, I don't, not for nothing on the West Coast, but how do you really lose to a zoning Superman? I don't get that.
Well,
what is that? What's a zoning Superman?
Let me say this. One, I hadn't played online in a little bit of time, and when I played him, in that, here's what I hate about first to 20s, especially the first time you're playing somebody, especially when it's like, when the person makes it clear. You get a first to 20, and then I'll see you in 2014. And this is why I don't think it's conducive for leveling up. And I definitely don't think it's conducive for finding out who the better player is online, when you let that person basically know, we're not going to play again for like 3 months. It's because when I was playing Theo, and I was playing with Rip, there was a time when Theo was up like 8-2. Now keep in mind, I'm still like mashing buttons, going full speed because I think I'm playing Saberwolf over here. And but like I'm playing him, and then sometimes he'll do like forward 2-3 trade, and I'll go to he'll try to attack, and I'll go to down one him into the thing, and I just.
Hello?
Tom, I lost you. You there?
Or sometimes I would have him beat, and I'd be like back 1-2 trident combo that I don't drop online, and he wakes up, scoops me, and kills me. When those kind of things happen to you, you're like, it frustrates you because you're like, fuck, man, I can't afford to lose these games because now I'm going down like 9-3, and I'll probably lose this, and I won't see him again for a year. Then you start really playing differently because you realize you're no longer playing to level up. You're sitting here saying, okay, I'm missing this combo a lot, so I have to stop doing it and do something else, because if I lose this first to 20, I don't get any more games for a month. And that's no way to practice. It's definitely no way to play at the highest possible level when you have two players who could really play. I am the best possible Aquaman on this planet. No offense to you, Theo. Take a number, get in the back seat. I mean, I am the best. I am the best Aquaman out there in the world. Theo may be the best Superman in the world. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they're KDZ. Obviously, he doesn't even play anymore. So I'll say this: with KDZ not playing, not even taking the game seriously, KDZ post Evo has not had the success of Theo. I mean, post TFC has not been looking as good as Theo with Superman. So right now, I think it is a fair assessment to say Theo probably is the best Superman in the world. So to have that against the best Aquaman player in the world, here you have two players that could finally grind this out. No more speculation in the match. No more Theo saying, I think it's even, or me saying, I don't know what it is, I mean, we really get to grind it out. So it's fun, two good players, two high-level minds, and also playing the match out probably for the first time in history at the highest possible level, infinite amount of games. And the guy goes, you get this one shot, better not drop any fucking combos or miss some shit, bitch, because you won't see me again till 2014. And that's no way to practice. That's no way to... That's the opposite of leveling up. That's the opposite.
No, like I said, no. I think I think even, I don't know what Pig is thinking. I don't want Pig to speak for Theo because Pig is not Theo. But I think it's definitely, if Pig can get, Theo on the show next week, I think that's definitely a worthy discussion that we can have because I know he gives me a lot of games, he gives Pig a lot of games, he gives many other players a lot of games. I don't know why he can't do the
really
same.
sitting here going, hey, you know what? I know how to fight a lot of characters. I have thousands of games and against a lot of characters. I don't like it when I don't have those kind of games against Superman. Finally I'm over here. Finally, I'm in a situation where I can play fucking hundreds of games in this match against the highest possible level and get this matchup out of the fucking way so I don't have to deal with the shit of tournaments anymore. But I know inside and out every possible nook and cranny of the matchup. And the guy stonewalls me. I'm like, and the worst part is, when you say to me, we'll play next year, you're saying we'll never play ever again. So I'm like, how the fuck am I ever going to play this match? Because I'm not coming back here next year. I'm going to be back over on the East Coast. So I'm like, let me get this straight. I'm back on the East Coast where KDZ has quit the game. How the fuck am I going to fucking fight this character and get the games I want?
You should have went to the break for the past 7 months.
If I went to the break for the past 7 months, it wouldn't fucking matter because that character doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't matter though. If you could have beat him pre-patch, then he'll be easy cake post-patch. What the fuck?
True, I guess that's kind of true again.
I agree.
My man.
Just let me ask this, Pig, can you get Theo on next week? Or do you think he's going to participate?
Absolutely. No,
All right.
do it.
Well, we can say it because, we don't want to go back and forth, and I don't want you to speak for Theo. I don't think that's fair. He can...
I agree.
I don't have any problem.
He's a grown man. He can speak, he can speak for himself, and, I don't want to, because he's not here to defend himself. I don't think it's fair, for us to assume why he did what he did and why he didn't, it's...
I think Pig might be right. He sees me as a rival and he has to whatever, but we weren't even fighting the Aquaman mirror. I don't even think
that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
I don't even think Theo considers me a rival on the Aquaman mirror. Theo probably
he considers you a rival overall.
Yeah, but not in the Aquaman mirror. I don't think Theo gives a fuck if my Aquaman's better than his, and I don't really give a fuck. Let me say one more thing.
Okay.
I think this is absolutely retarded when somebody says to me, so and so, you might have beat this guy by 1 game, but so and so beat this guy by 15. What do you have to say about that? To me, my answer is always the same. My style with Aquaman is considered extremely risky and fucking retarded in some... I mean, only a retard would knock Green Lantern down and say, I could block here. No, he's going to backdash. And do a fucking trident and put their whole life bar on the line. Only an idiot would do that. But that's what I do. And it's those dumb decisions that I make it's that guessing style that I play with Aquaman that may have one Aquaman player be a little more textbook than me in some matchup and maybe win by more games than me. But that style prevents me from being like insane and going to next level and getting the shit beat out of him, but every random off the street, or I shouldn't say that, but he's like, yeah, I never lose to Green. He's just like, I don't mean to say that, but I mean like insane's like, I never lose to Green Lantern, and Art, who doesn't play the game, blows him up, and Rico was telling me about that, and Rico was like, insane, man. Didn't you say you never lose to Green Lantern? This guy doesn't even play the game and he beats you? I mean, it's like, and also insane, he got bought really bad by Saltface. And maybe he got bought really bad. And maybe certain style, and Junior 5-0'd him with his 1 week Nightwing. And then I had to hear from Insane how Nightwing is such a terrible matchup, and I wanted to fucking stab myself in the head. I mean, my risky style may be fucking retarded, but my risky style stops me from losing from getting mopped up by Grundy, Green Lantern, Nightwing, any Killer Frog, any Hawk Girl, and a really high-level Hawk Girl. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some online Hawk Girl players that don't really cut the mustard. It's that stupid guessing style that allows me to use Aquaman in every single match. So people play differently.
But isn't it your responsibility as the best Aquaman to fight each character correctly? That means making some guesses against certain characters and not making guesses at all against certain others.
I'm not. Maybe maybe
Theo is better than I am with knowing what tricks he can get away with. Maybe Theo is better. And I'm guilty of this too.
Dude, how
There are
about we
people.
just wait till NEC,
No, I mean,
and obviously we'll see how Theo deals with the East Coast players.
well, what I'm saying is with Aquaman and his online stuff, maybe, and I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of people that I know that I can get away with murder. I get away with it. You know, in a tournament, if I'm like, okay, I know this guy's going to fucking duck, you know, I'm going to whatever. But, you know, right now I feel like a lot of Aquaman players right now take more liberties than I do because they know they take more liberties. But I found that when I started to take more liberties with you know, in that particular, my jacket. When I would take more liberties, I'm gonna grab my jacket and get out of here. I found when I took more liberties that, you know, online, whatever, and I would go back home, play like Reo and Rico Suave, and then I have to spend like 15 games not taking those liberties anymore. So I was like, well, this sucks. I can't, you know, I would have a hard time opening them up. Like I would play, you know, like God knows how many matches online, and I would sit here and play Rico, you know, 30 games, and Rico, you know, 30, 50 games. And then I couldn't open them up anymore. I couldn't get that damage. I was like, okay, I'm going to come in and back two, they block it. I'm going to come in and back one, they block it. I'm like, this sucks, man. I can't. All this damage that I was used to getting, I don't get anymore. So, like, if I play someone like Dave or any other player, you know, like I may not take those liberties like that. So while someone else, maybe someone else reads that, hey, you know what, this guy Dave is going to eat this fucking move every single time. I may not abuse that on Dave because I assume that he probably wouldn't eat it every time because nobody else I know does. I mean, you know, that's all.
But that's player tendencies and stuff. You know, you kind of, you know, have to figure that out, you know, as you play. I mean, we all know that. I mean, as players, you know, just kind of this is what's probably the hardest, you know, in the first to three. All this, you know, that's why, you know, we've argued we want to. By the way, does everybody here support, you know, best out of whatever best, you know, first to three instead of like first to two at a tournament?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yeah, because I think two out of three goes by pretty quick in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that, and you know.
Well, Dave, you for me, you made a point about the 2-round system. You know, does everybody agree with that? What was your point about the 2-round system again, Dave?
I mean, why don't you? Because I think you argued it better than I did. I mean, we talked about it, you know, last year time when you weren't here. Just the fact that, you know, in some matchups, not all, of course, you got Flash who doesn't give a damn about, you know, life leads who can just, you know, make a comeback
What
extremely.
You're talking about like the white life bar.
No, I think what Dave was trying to say was that basically when for example, I think he was trying to say the biggest difference between a round game or a 2-bar game is that in a round game, you know, you beat the player, you know, say you win the first round, you know, when you have, you know, 25, 30% health left, but you guys go back to zero, to full health, and then in the second round. In the second round, if you say, let me take this huge risk, you're less likely to do it because if you do, you know you're probably going to lose that round, you know, and then you're back to, you know,
no, I agree with you. You know how many times I just go nutty when I'm on the white life bar and I have like 20% left and they're on their red shit?
Yeah, because people look at it like, you know, for example, Green Lantern is infamous for this. You know, when you knock Green Lantern down, and he's got like maybe a little more than a pixel left, not quite danger, but almost. It's so dumb because you don't want to let him get away. But to him, why not? Why not check him? Why not throw off this fucking lift? Why not? I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to lose any life.
Right.
You know, and if they're right, you're going to lose, you know, another 35% plus stuck in that fucking stupid vortex, you know, and the match could be over. And then they still have that fucking pixel. You know, so I think that's the point that Dave was trying to say. And, you know, it's also present in KI with this fucking crazy Sadira player that I got over here fucking waking up with fucking spider balls and shit, man, when they have, you know, yeah, nod your head, bitch. When they got, you know, 10% health left, you know. But I mean, I think that's just a 2-round system in general. You know, as far as the big life leads go, like, you know, look, if you, the biggest difference, I think, that and, you know, fighting games, you can get overwhelmed really bad the first round and say, okay, slow down. What the fuck is happening here? Second round, start it all over. In this game, you could overwhelm the first round and go down a full life bar. You could potentially be fucked. But at the same time, I think that's why Injustice also has some of the fucking craziest 50-50s, because in a game, and interactables also, because in a game where you could potentially go down, a full life bar and have the other guy basically on 200% health, you need some help like interactables, OTGs, a good 50-50 trap. You need those tools. So I think it all balances out to really help the two life bar system.
Well, the thing is, I mean, and in a lot of matches, like a matchup like Zod against Aquaman, even a matchup against Zod against Black Adam, whoever gets the life lead, it's extremely difficult to come back. Like, I don't know, Rico, whether you noticed, but whoever get the life lead, like, usually won the fight, when we fought. That's just how it is, because, like, our characters don't have the offense to make a comeback. Maybe we have the damage, but if you play right, you really shouldn't be hit by...
You're talking about a lot of those matches we would have where, like, if one of us, something happens and one of us goes down 50% at the beginning of the fight, the match might as well be over.
It's over. Like,
yeah, because you don't have to take any risk anymore.
Exactly. Like,
all you gotta do is just keep running away, play it real safe, and eventually you're gonna chip me out. I'm gonna get impatient, and I'm done.
But I think that only applies in certain matchups, and usually only for the better characters of the game.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, I fight you. I may hit you with an interactable, activate trait, hit you with another interactable, and the match is over. You can't win anymore. Or you hit me, you hit me with you hit me with back one at the beginning of the round. You do the 40% combo, maybe do one more mix-up, and the match is pretty much over. You don't have to do anything else. Like, I have to take ridiculous risks to win that. So, but I just don't like that. I don't think the match should be decided within the first 5 or 10 seconds. I think that's absurd. And that's why I think tournaments should be best out of 5. Not, I think it makes the most sense in the world.
Pig, what do you think? Best out of 5 or 2 out of 3?
3 out of 5, no question. I think this game 3 out of 5 rewards the better player.
Yeah,
Rico, you think 3 out of 5?
Yeah, of course.
Well, what do you think TO's? Why do you think the problem is with TO is that they don't want to do the 3 out of 5?
Well, if you saw Phil's argument in the thread, he's worried about all the volunteer time and efforts and work, and there's no pay, and they basically just do it for love of the community. We're asking them to do double the amount of work for nothing.
But is it?
Well, I don't see how much of a big deal if, like, for Marvel, they had it for quite some time now, 3 out of 5, and
Well, well, I'm not sure why they have it, because people are like, what? If this tournament better be 3 out of 5, I'm not traveling. And that's the way.
Well, yeah, but it's the same thing. Injustice, though. Think about it. Most of my matches, I 2 out of 3, it goes by like in 2 minutes or a minute and a half.
I'm saying, like, the thing with Marvel players, they have more. They have like more input. They have more power. And if they say, well, this better, like,
it's the same thing.
But we don't. But we don't.
So you got off like 2-3 combos.
I think Pig brought up a really good point one time when he said, you know what? If you're the better player, you're the better player. How can you be the better player if you go up 2-0 and then lose 3 straight?
But that has happened before, though, and I want to have that.
Exactly. So that obviously shows that, maybe you weren't the better player, but you came up with some tomfoolery or some shenanigans, to really work right away. And this guy, was a better player, and he adjusted. And then when he adjusted, you couldn't adjust back. I mean, it makes a valid point. It makes a valid point when you lose 2 games.
Yeah.
And you can't adjust, and they went 3 straight.
If you guys remember from MK, who was like the
Tyrant
the bizarre Cyrex of the community? Who was that?
Oh, well, yeah.
What?
Newbie?
No, I was just putting out random names.
And Newbie went 2-0 on me and one of the MLGs, and guess what? I saw, like, okay, this guy, I know how he fights now, and I came back being 3-2. I think with players like that, you should have the opportunity to do that. Like, I don't. But I'm just saying that
Tyrant Gamer Blake. Tyrant came back after download 2.5 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
me versus
he was down 2 games and 1 round. He was on. He had not. He was on set point.
Yeah,
Blake was.
He was on set combo. Like, it was.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
He was on set combo. Poor Blake. He didn't know how to do an uppercut. And when I told Blake, he was like, "Oh, damn it, I forgot." You know how Blake is.
So I think
me versus DJT at MLG Spring Arena. I was down to my last net.
True.
Cyrax
and then
Kenshi.
and you made a big comeback there. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, you know, a lot of people say 2 out of 3, but you know, your point, Pig, is undeniable when you say if you're the better player and you go up 2-0 on somebody, and you for some reason can't just take that last game when you have them in a big hole, you don't deserve to advance.
Well, it might not be two. I mean, why are we using that scenario? It might not be 2-0. Might be just be 2-1. I mean, you know, you can be up 2-1 and lose, you know, and still lose. I mean, it's not just about that 2-0. We don't have to use that all the time. So I think definitely should be. Is it gonna happen? I don't know.
With animal style fries.
So
I don't know. Like I said, I definitely think it's more 3 out of 5. I mean, a lot of tournaments do that. I mean, Marvel does 3 out of 5.
yeah.
Tekken, which, you know, a Tekken top 8 3 out of 5 could take 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, but
You know.
Injustice wouldn't be like that. So I think
I
that's
know,
why it should
and
be fair.
tournament organizers accommodate them, so I don't understand why they won't accommodate us at all. I mean,
I think
I
we
don't
have
see
to
what
push.
the big
We
deal
have
is.
to push for it. I think.
Oh, and one more thing too, guys, about the stage rule, because I noticed that.
Yeah, there was some
Yeah,
controversy about that. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna bring it up about that guy, but basically I think it should just be double random. Whatever pops up in the background for both players when they press X or A, whatever it is. That's the stage you gotta pick when you double random every time.
I agree. I mean, I know a lot of players, even when I play online, they'll go random stage as long as it's what they want.
Yeah.
But if you go to do double random, and the stage that they're on randomly is not as good as the stage you're on, they'll just go to your stage and pick that stage and say, "Yeah, man,
Oh
random
yeah,
stage."
Killer Frost players, Nightwing players, Batman player. I mean, they do it all the time.
There are also certain Superman player from SoCal, I'm not going to mention, that will always pick the same stage. I'm not going to say any names. And then when you go to double random the next game, and the next game might have a whole bunch of interactables flying around, but your stage doesn't, then I'll go to pick your stage. That's another thing that I don't like.
What about
Yeah.
what's the rule? What's the rule for NEC?
What's the rule with what?
For NEC.
The rule is double random. And I'm just joking, by the way, Theo. I was just taking a joke. Please, you joke about me all the time. Please, God.
Yeah, wait, did Theo pick Wayne Manor?
He picked Wayne Manor, and then next time he played, I was like, he keeps picking Wayne Manor. What the fuck? And then I went to stage select, and we got a different stage. And I almost, actually, when we picked a different stage, I was down like 9-2, and then I cut it to like 7-11, and then, you know, whatever, I still lost. But I mean, the stage she had was Insurgency, and I was like, oh, bitch, you better fucking hope we don't get this shit. It's OTG time. And then he was like, oh, Metropolis, yeah, I like your stage. I'll go to your stage. And I'm like, no, don't go to my stage. What is this? Double random. Yeah, but no, I'm not saying, but a lot of online guys in general do it. Like, a lot of them do it. Killer Frost players, Dave
Killer Frost
mentioned,
players. Killer
Yeah.
Frost players, back cave.
Dave,
I was-
what was
What's
the
up?
rule at Youmacon? Because I kept seeing people I kept seeing them pick their stage. I'm like, why are they picking their stage?
That's what I thought it was. I thought you could pick your own stage, like, and it's just a 50-50. I mean, that doesn't mean the game decides. It means you decide it. You know, that's what I thought.
Wednesday night, he tells me at Wednesday night fights, the tournament rule is still loser always picks the stage.
Well,
No, I think it should be double random for everything. For
And
all
he says
tournaments.
I know some tournaments still do that, and you know they put in a double random for. You know, double random is the best possible thing. Nobody knows what stages they're going to end up. It's a double random, and you can't pick your character based on the stage in the background because you never know what stage you're really going to get. You know.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, everybody should know how to find on every stage by now.
Yeah,
so
good for
but
everything.
let me ask again. What is the rule? What are the rules for NEC?
I'm hoping it's
Double random.
double random.
Meaning you get to pick, or the game decides?
The
game
game decides. Like player 1 picks the stage in a random, and basically player 2 pulls the stage up, and whatever that cursor is on, he picks that, and the game decides which stage you're playing on. And that's a totally fair way to do it. I like that method. Double random, and then loser has the option of double random again. None of this. Well, I lost. Let me pick the stage. I mean, you know, it's. But online players are infamous for doing that, and some of them just will not play you. Here's what I wanted to bring up because I didn't get to weigh on this last time you did it. But the most irritating thing to me are guys that you know what their main character is and you really want to get some matches in with them. They'll play you with their secondary character like 5-7 games, and if they're down say like 6-3 or something like that, go to their main character, end up winning like 10-8 or something like that, and you want to get more games and then they're done. and then you're like, what? I only get a few games with this character, and it's only first to 10 on top of that, and then you play him again, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe, next week I'll catch them, and then I'll get 10, games with their main character. No, right back to you got to beat their secondary again, then you get the same 5 games with their main. I mean, has that ever happened to you guys? That is the most. And there's one guy I just don't want to say because he's a nice guy and one of the community sweethearts. One guy that does that all the time, and it fucking drives me crazy.
Who is it?
I can't
Call
say,
him
man.
out. No, call him out.
No, man, I don't want to.
Dude, who cares?
Yeah, despite if you look like a dick, I'm the cockiest
Dude.
prick of them all.
Dude.
To say it.
Fucking Mr. Molina, man. Nothing irritates me more. For the longest time, I wanted to play him, but I guess he was really busy with school. And then every time he kept inviting me, like I was busy or I was away, and I would come back and I'm like, oh, fuck, he sent me an invite. And he would, So recently, like twice, I challenged him and we played me Zatanna. And and after we played with Zatanna, then he would go to Raven. And I wouldn't even get that many games with his Raven. And then whatever the score was, what he won, would leave. And the next time I'm like, all right, well, hey, this guy's really running away from me. Some of these other Ravens are like rushdown Ravens, which isn't that bad for Aquaman, but this guy runs away and runs away. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, man. It's another style of Raven, man. I would love to fight this more. And then again, I get Zatanna, and I'm just like, I would rather fucking drown my face in the toilet than constantly fighting Zatanna. And it's like, okay, obviously you see that I could probably use some more experience against this style of Raven. Why would you just... I'm not saying he's playing just to get the win and move on, but I'm like, why don't you do me a solid and fucking play me some more games with that shit, man? I mean, please, God.
Yeah, people. I know people do that. I don't know why, but it's like, I don't know. Like this,
I'm not saying he does it on purpose. He probably has class or whatever, but I would like to fight it more. But there are guys who will do that on purpose.
Yeah.
They'll play. Even if they lose the set, they'll play. You have to earn their main character, and then they'll.
Wait a minute. That sounds.
that
sounds like somebody. That sounds like somebody from this podcast that does that. I think I know who it is.
You talking about me?
Of course. Who else would it be?
What are you talking about? When did I do that?
No, not against me, but people say, you know what, dude, I just wanted to fight Pig, man. This fool Pig Sector. And he's like, Sector? What the hell is, I want to fight Kenshi, man. It's like, what's he using Sector for?
But then again, Pig, I mean, why would you, if you're a Kenshi player, you're probably doing these Jade players a favor by picking Sector on them. I mean, because then people play.
I'm talking about casuals, not a tournament. Of course, in a tournament we would use Kenshi. I'm talking
Even in casuals, you're doing them a favor.
I know they are. That's what they like. That's what people like. Why is he doing this, Dave? Why is he picking Sector? I want to fight. It's like, dude, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just trying to figure you out. I don't know.
Showing you mercy, giving you play the game.
Yeah,
dude. Pig was Darth Vader. No, I mean, but a lot of people do that when Injustice. Dude, I wish you got to get the Darth Vader avatar now. No, I mean all right. No, I mean it's people. I hate this earn your main, and then even when they go to their main, they'll only play maybe 3-4 games, and if they're up 2-1 or it's tied, go right back to a bullshit character, and then they'll be like, "Yo, but I might have had you with my main," and you're like, well, please, the matches were close. Please go back to it. Nah, I'll give you this one a little bit.
No. Oh, Tom, you know who does that too? Maxter. Wasn't he doing that with you?
Let me tell you something about Maxter. Here's a funny story. Maxter used to come on. Maxter still goes on streams and says stuff. His little Maxter talk. The same talk he did in MK9. Well, Rico Suave, you were there. 16-bit one time told me, you don't have to take shit from Maxter and those guys anymore. They're saying MK9. You don't play Sub-Zero anymore. Well, when I went over there, I was playing with Rico, and I had some good games with CD Prime. Rico was right there. Maxter comes home from work. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Maxter? I haven't seen you in forever. And he goes, okay, Papi, I'm going to bop you right now, first to 3, and then you're not going to get any more games from me. Hold that shit. I was like, what? So you know what happened? Maxter lost 3-0. I was like, well, good games, Maxter. He's like, no, fuck that rematch. And then he lost again. And he was like, one more. I'm like, Maxter, didn't you just tell me that if I would have lost, that you were going to sleep and no more games for me? And now you want to play me more? And he lost 4 sets with Hawk Girl, 1-1. And then he tried Catwoman. I kept beating the shit out of that fucking shit cat. To the point where I was like, just fucking kill me. Kill me. I have to play this fucking cat one more game. And then Reo was over there antagonizing it, going, I don't know, man. Maybe he might find something. And I'm like, Reo, shut the fuck up. So Reo tortured me to make sure I have to play this fucking cat for hours and hours. And then I go, hey, Rico, you were there. I was like, hey, Maxter, I see you playing Doomsday. You know a character I never fight? Doomsday. Can you give me some experience? Because I don't have that much with him. He'll play me a few games, and I'll go right back to that fucking shit cat or that fucking bird that I keep knocking out of the air. And then I go and lose to Newbie, and I'm like, hey, Maximo, thanks, man. Thank you for you know. That was the best thing. And then I confronted Maxter on, now that Injustice seems to be a reversal of fortune from MK9, let me call you out on you saying that Cyrax was an even matchup with Sub-Zero and I was just bad. You know, now that the playing field is even, we really see the truth. And Maxter said to fucking Rico Suave, I never said it was even. I always said it was 8-2 or something like that. Shut the fuck up. Dude, it was, yeah,
Well,
but it was irritating.
There's also another type of people another type of thing that people do, and this is what they do. Let's say you've been losing to them, I don't know, maybe like 20-5 every freaking month, and all of a sudden you start beating them, and they say that matchup is 7-3. Who did that on this podcast to me? I don't know. Who was that? Tom, was that you? Tom.
Tom. Where's Tom?
Did he leave?
I think it's coming from
Wait,
Tom, you there?
Tom.
what'd you say?
No,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm just saying that. Do you remember, like, I fought this guy, like, for a month or, two, and used to beat him, like, 25 every day? Then all of a sudden, like, started winning, and then he started claiming that a matchup is 7-3 in his favor, even though he's losing. Who did that?
I know who did that.
Yeah, who did that?
You were playing somebody, and you started saying
Yeah,
you were
like-
7-3.
Yeah, they were beating me. This person was beating him, like, 25, 23, like, almost every day.
Rebella?
No, it's you, you fool!
Oh, me? Hold on. Because M2 Dave, here's why. Because M2 Dave would sit here and play Zod and be down 1,000,000,000% and still keep trying to zone me. And I'm like, Dave, what the fuck are you doing, man? Trying to mix me up or something. And Dave's like, shut up, fool!
All right, man.
We
We're
gotta
like,
wrap it up soon.
yeah, we're like 3.5 hours in. Rico, do you want to say anything? Because you're the guest. You want to say anything before we leave? Rico, you there?
Honestly, not really. I look forward to NEC. Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Dude, how dare you bring...
Hello? Yeah.
First of all, let me...
Tom,
Tom.
Relax. It was
Can you
just
hear
for
me?
jokes, man. Go ahead, Rico. Go ahead. Go say your piece.
But now I got to think about Rebella real quick. I got to get this out about Rebella. If I don't get this out, I'm going to fucking die, burst into flames.
Okay, go ahead.
Rebella. I'm not trying to say Rebella is good or bad. I honestly have no idea with that fucking connection I play Rebella with, where I can't even do a combo half of the time. But I will say this. Rebello is infamous for getting away with total murder, having you drop 1 billion combos and doing wake-up attacks. And you're like, oh, well, it's online, it's a shitty connection. I did my best. And then he'll say, 6-4, bro. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Rebello? You can't. Even though he probably is a good player, but online, I mean, he is a good player, but online, holy shit, man. One time I was playing him, and he kept fucking up with, he kept making mistakes with Martian Manhunter. There's one game in particular, and Rebello always swore that I was over-exaggerating our connection. Now, I don't know where he lives in Canada, but it has to be far from where I was on the East Coast. And he kept, one match we tried Martian Manhunter on me, and I literally comboed him like 5 times when he had like 15% and dropped every single one of them. And then he won. And then I left the game and he goes,
What?
Tom, you're breaking up.
I don't know why you keep
Tom,
dropping
you're
that. I think my
breaking
kids
up.
are on the
You sound
computer, and I'm like, oh, hold on. Hear me now?
You sound
Can you hear me
retarded.
What does it sound like? Is that what it sounds like?
You sound
You
like
sound like
Auto-Tune.
Aquaman. Like
You sound like
Aquaman underwater. Go
Awesome.
ahead, finish up.
Do I sound like Aquaman right now?
No, you're fine right now.
Okay, no, but I was saying like, and like I must have dropped like literally like 4 combos when he had like 15% health, and obviously he would have died on any 4 of them. And then he goes to me, yeah, my kids must be on the internet today. I don't know why you kept missing me. I'm like, Rebello, it's every single day. So I had to stop playing him because I just sucked because he's a good player and I want to play him more games with him because he's fucking bad.
I think we lost Tom.
We lost Tom. Well, Rico,
Hello,
Tom,
is he breaking up?
Tom, all right.
Rico,
Tom,
just wrap it up.
Tom,
Just
yeah, Tom, you're done.
Tom, you're done. Rico, you want to wrap it up? And I just want to, I just say, like you're the guest. We want to give you the last word before Pig signs us
Nothing. Sure, let's just look forward to NEC and everybody else that's coming. Really. Oh, and by the way, it's pretty unfortunate that PL won't come to NEC, so I can be the for the 3rd time. Same tournament. But other than that,
Wait, PL's
I
like
look forward to PL, Tyrant, and everybody else. Tom, just die.
Tom, stop.
Stop. Okay, Pig, just sign us off, man, before he gets back.
Yeah, before Tom comes back, starts talking.
Talk about Rebello again.
Yeah, this guy Rebello. All right. This has been a ridiculously nutty episode of Kryptonite Podcast, episode 11. Hope you guys enjoy it. Obviously, give back the feedback, and hopefully we'll see if Play in the Wind wants to come on next time and talk about the controversy at Youmacon with him and Mamba, and he wants to talk about that in the future. And then hopefully I can get Theo on with Tom later, and hopefully Tom can come back on and talk more about Rebello for an hour. So if you guys enjoyed, we're out. Thanks for Rico for coming on, and see you guys.